Did you miss us? It's been 2 weeks since Breaking Down the Ring has been on the air. So much stuff has happened. A couple different Raws, a couple different SmackDowns, a fake-ass War Games, a Survivor Series, whole bunch of shit that we're going to get into. Plus, in studio, our own special guest, Hakim Zane. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to... You are listening to the most inappropriate pro wrestling podcast in history. You're listening to Breaking Down the Ring. We are your ring crew.
Z, 3-time champ, Smitey.
Oh, God, that's awful.
More time than that, former champ, Armbar.
Orlando.
Callie.
And the almighty one himself, Mikey. We are joined in studio today, folks, by the winner of the Impact Wrestling Global Forge competition. A man whose mother calls him son because he shines like one. The Mad Dragon himself, Hakim Zane. Hakim, welcome to Breaking Down the Ring.
Hey, what's up, people?
Nothing much, man.
Do you need a new manager? Because
How
I
you
think
doing?
he just like put you
It
over.
was beautiful.
Just for
It was
that.
fantastic.
That's what I do.
That's the first time. Let's mark that as one that we hear that catchphrase tonight. Right. So many times we can get that out.
So first things first, let's get into something that has happened recently. The Impact Wrestling Global Forge competition. You are the winner. There were 6 guys as finalists, if
Yep.
I'm not mistaken.
Well, it started out as there was this camp. It was for Pro Wrestling Noah and Impact. And myself and a couple other guys went just for the Pro Wrestling Noah part of it because we had already wrestled for Impact. So it was for like a developmental thing where they were looking for newer guys. It got jumbled along the way. And they started this thing where they wanted to do, because they picked 3 guys. They were supposed to pick one, they picked 3. And then Scott D'Amore got a hold of myself and a couple other guys and said, hey, you should be on the show anyways. You guys already have FaceTime on Impact. Let's get you more FaceTime. And then it turned into, from developmental thing to the winner gets to be at Bound for Glory and record some stuff for them. So, and then boom, there it was. I ended up winning. Myself and Mark Wheeler were the 2 finalists. And we did a tag match at what was it? BCW's, I can't remember what the last big BCW show was, but whoever did the best ended up winning, and I ended up winning. So they showed me at Bound for Glory. I got to do some tapings for them, which was pretty sweet. They hyped me up as, of course, the Global Forge winner. Got to cut a promo. One promo, it was already on TV. I got interrupted by Johnny Impact, that piece of trash, interrupting me. You know what I mean?
I saw that.
Man, it was like 10 seconds, but I made that 10 seconds count. And then there's another one. It was a match after I got to work with, what's his face? Eddie Edwards. And that was awesome. And I cut a promo after that, and they just let me go. And I was very happy about that. That won't be on Impact. That will be on Explosion. So you can find that like on the internet whenever they release it.
The first match, your first tape match that's coming to television is this Thursday on Impact Wrestling on Pop. You versus Taiji Ishimori.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, it's been taped and everything, so it's coming up. But so how did you have any nerves coming in with that match? I know you've been doing this for a while, but I mean, obviously now coming in right then as the Global Forged winner, was there any extra butterflies?
There's always nerves. You can ask Orlando. I'm always nervous right before I go out, but right when the music hits, it's game time. I was nervous because some of the guys, you know, I knew from April, and it's weird because no matter how good you are and how long you've been wrestling, when you go to something like that, if you don't know those guys, you automatically feel like an outsider. So I felt like an outsider. So I'm like, man, I really have to show up and put up, you know what I mean? Because these guys are thinking, well, shit, this dude, he won this reality thing, and it was legit. I won it. And they're probably thinking this guy's going to come in. He's trying to get a job. I don't want him taking my spot. So I went out there and I just did what I do best, man. I went in the ring. I had personality. I put on a great match. Ishimori's a freaking 10. You know, I remember watching him a long time ago when I was still, training. He used to tag up with Kenta, aka, Atami. Yeah.
Tommy.
Yep. He used to tag up with him and he's just a 10 in the ring, and it was fun. And I'm glad that was my first match because he's a huge X Division guy. He has so much experience. So being in the ring with him was fantastic. As soon as I got out there, though, and the smoke was there, and you see like the huge like Jumbotron and stuff like that, and your music's playing, and you see this atmosphere, and I'm like, fuck yeah, man, it's my time. And the first time I tagged up with one of my buddies, but this time it was all about me. Spotlight's on me. So I'm like, shit, it's me. It's go time. And I went in the ring and I did a bunch of my signature moves, and it was back and forth, and I thought we put on a good match. I got some really good feedback when I came back afterwards, and so I can't wait for people to see it. And I'm in it to win it. You can ask Orlando. He knows how serious I am about it. We're the same vein. Like, we want this. We love this. We're dead serious about professional wrestling, and I hope people enjoy it and realize that, like, this guy's good.
How much time did they spend in Canada? Because you guys had to go to Canada. It was Can-Am wrestling school that they're doing a lot of the taping at, correct?
Yep.
How long did they have you guys up there? Was it straight? Were you able to go back home to the families? Because you're from Saginaw, Michigan.
Yes.
So obviously going to where in Canada was this?
It was Windsor, 2-hour drive for me. Some of the guys stayed there. There were some guys that were from Toronto. They stayed at a cottage, and then there's a few other guys that would Jake something. He'd stay there a couple times, and he'd hit up there 2 days a week when they would record. We did a lot of recording. It was from the summertime until I would say October. And there was a lot of stuff they didn't even use. And it was funny because the episodes were only 2 minutes long, and people would say, man, I wish these were longer because they were interesting. And they were interesting. There was a lot of practice matches. There was promos. There was us at a hockey game just doing a bunch of stuff that they never even showed. So if they end up doing Global Forge again, I hope that they make it a little bit longer because that can be interesting. It's new blood. All the guys that were a part of the show were very talented. What I would do, I would literally get out of work and I'd drive straight there, and I would be there until, I don't know, I'd get home like at 2 a.m. because we'd train forever and we would just go over stuff. And it's cool because I trained from this one dude in Davison, Joe Bird, and then I used to go up to the House of Truth and learn stuff from Truth Martini. He'd pick me apart, and then I started going up there. So it's like I had all these different things, and even when I go up there, I've been wrestling for almost 9 years, and I'd go up to Can-Am and I'd still learn stuff. And it was really cool getting their perspective and how they did things. They do things differently than what other people trained you. So it's cool to be a part of that. But all in all, I would go up there, get right out of work. I'd go up there and I'd drive back, and then I'd go up there the next week.
Nice, man.
That's dedication.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice too because it's nice to see Michigan guys finally get some spotlight, especially my friends and stuff. We've talked about it a million times.
Yeah.
We've had the talent here for so long, but we just haven't had the push. A lot of guys everywhere else, the Chicago guys, and especially in the Midwest, Cleveland guys, everyone else kind of gets some push, but we didn't. So it's really nice seeing the Detroit boys and all the Michigan Saginaw crew and everybody from Michigan finally get some love on some national exposure type stuff.
Yeah.
And you've also done some stuff with Ring of Honor, right?
Yeah, I've actually... I was doing MMA at the time and wrestling, and I said, you know what, I think I'm just going to stick to MMA because I felt like I was too small. I felt like professional wrestling and I had just got in it, but I was kind of good at both, and I loved MMA. And so I said, okay, there's a Ring of Honor camp. I'll go to this, and, you know, I'll see what happens. Well, I went to it not thinking anything. I cut my promos. I did my ring work, and they liked me. And I remember Michael Elgin pulled me aside because that's when he was with him. He said, hey, make sure you kill it in this last practice match because they have eyes on you. And I was like, holy shit, I didn't expect that at all. So I did that, and then I went to Delirious at the time. I pulled him aside. I said, what do I have to work on? And he told me, and the next time they had another camp, I went there and I killed it. And he pulled me aside and he said, hey, I got a booking for you. So I ended up the booking got canceled because it was supposed to be in West Virginia, and then the show got canceled. Then I did a pre-show match. And then I just started showing up to Ring of Honor shows, and almost every time I showed up, they used me. And then I did one of their first Future of Honor matches, which is still on YouTube, and it got like over 15,000 views or something like that. And they liked me. And I love Ring of Honor. I love all the guys there. There's plenty of times my name kept getting thrown in the hat for they do a tournament in January.
The prospect tournament?
Yeah, prospect tournament. I was almost in that like 2 or 3 times.
Top prospect.
Top prospect
Because Leo Rush won
yes.
last one.
Yep.
Donovan
and,
Dijak.
I remember Truth.
Before it.
Yeah, and Truth would pull me aside and said, "Hey, your name's in the mix, yada, yada, yada." And they just never pulled the trigger on me. That was cool. And then this thing happened. Scott D'Amore hit me up and said, "Hey, you should come down to these tapings in April. I got something for you down in Impact." And then I tagged up with Idris Abraham, and that was good. And then the company again went through a shuffle, and then we did this thing, and then bam, here I am now. The cool thing about it is this time around, which is huge to me, is that they're hyping me up. Actually, Impact is hyping me up. They're putting me on their Twitter, and it's all that stuff, you know what I mean? And roster picks. So that's a big deal to me. So it's like, everyone's like, "Oh man, this is awesome for you. How excited for you." I'm excited, but I'll be excited when the ink is dry. Yeah, when the ink is dry, that's when I'll be excited. And that's when I'll be like, okay, sweet. Now we're doing something. But until then, I'm going to continue to grind and work hard and, do what we do.
This motherfucker's a hustler.
Hell yeah, man. You got to hustle, dude.
I like this motherfucker. He a hustler.
Well, let's talk about Impact. So Impact's been through, like you said, a lot of shuffling, to put it lightly.
That's over the last 2 years.
Yeah, so they've dealt with some issues. Do you think it's taking step forwards now? What do you think it needs, or what do you think it needs to do to kind of, I guess, fix its reputation?
I do honestly think the internet is, the internet's harsh on everything. They dog whatever they can. But I think wrestling needs Impact. It needs something, because you have New Japan, which is blowing up, and that's awesome.
Ring of Honor.
You have Ring of Honor, but you also need Impact. You need another promotion that has, because the talent's there. The talent's there. The guidance just needs to be there. They're already making moves, and I'm happy too, because they moved their offices from Nashville to Canada. So that makes me hope that even more Michigan guys will finally get a look, But I think all they need to do is find their niche, and this is just business talking, because there's one thing I do know is business. They need to just find their niche and be consistent. And then once they start producing, people start to see like, "Oh, this guy's good. This guy's good. Oh man, this is awesome." And they just back off a little bit. I watched a match, OVE and LAX. Man, that was hot. These guys got something going on right now, and it's, that's a missing thing to me as tag teams. They don't have enough prominent tag teams. Man, you remember when the British Bulldogs, Road Warriors, the Midnight Express, the Rock and Roll Express, tag teams you were always excited to see the tag teams. OVE and LAX, their feud is hot. It's hot right now.
Like the New Days and the Usos had a nice little feud going recently.
Yes, and that's what we need, And I think if people just back off a little bit and quit trying to throw dirt on something that can honestly grow and flourish. Everyone makes mistakes. All businesses do. Just give it a chance, because the talent's there. Just needs to be in the right direction. I think they're making moves. I think they're doing the right thing, and I think just consistency is the key. And because like I said, they already have the talent, and just being consistent with putting out a good product, and they'll be fine.
Joseph?
So I mean, that's the main thing about Impact, is no one ever really shits on the talent there.
Right.
No one's ever said, "Oh my God, they're putting out some of the worst matches. These are some of the worst people." No. Most people are going.
Talent was never an issue with that company.
It's the management.
Everybody there always worked their ass off.
It's always something happens backstage. And not mean talent backstage as in the business aspect of it. So when they start taking a step forward publicly, then all of a sudden Jeff Jarrett gets fucking drunk again.
Yeah.
And so and
I
then
never even
something
knew that was an issue until recently.
But
apparently
that's just what I'm referring to. And it's like they're starting to do new things televised too, where it's not just one specific area, because the new episodes are going from, okay, there's a wrestling thing here, then here, and then here. So it's definitely trying to do something different again. And when I say again, is because it's the only wrestling promotion with a 6-sided ring.
Right.
I mean,
that's cool as hell, by the way.
Yeah,
it takes some getting used to when you first get in there, but that's cool as hell.
How are running the ropes on that?
They're tight.
No.
So you can springboard the shit out of that stuff. But there's certain things like when you it's just like when you suplex a guy and you want it's just weird. Sometimes you have to really be precise with stuff, but I think it's really cool.
I heard the ring is real snug.
Yeah, how's the
I actually
canvas?
didn't
How's
think-
bumping
I
on
thought
it
it was
compared to
fine.
a four-sided ring?
I mean, we've been in some shitty rings,
Yeah,
bro.
no,
So
that's
to me,
to us, yeah, it's probably fucking nuts.
yeah, that ring was fine to me.
Right.
Like,
These
I've
other
been
guys
in-
are like, man, this ring's
Yeah.
snug.
Yeah.
We're
I'm
like,
like,
man, this ring feels
yeah,
great.
you can slam me all day long. There's been in some rings I'm like, dude, I'm bumping once, man. Fuck that shit.
So speaking of snug,
Bumps and high spots.
I was telling Mikey about a hammer fist I gave you.
Oh my god, that's not the only thing. Like
It goes both ways, but
It does because I've learned.
Zane
to,
and Christopher.
Yeah.
Stories.
I will tell you this, man. We've always wanted. When I first got in, Christopher is one of the first guy. He'll be the guy. He's like me. If he sees that you have something, he'll watch your matches and he'll pick you apart. And he'll be very blunt with it. But it's cool because if you want to get better, you'll take what he says, you soak it in, and you'll get better. So he would always watch my shit. And then we finally got a feud with each other. And I'll never forget, like, one person gave us a time or told us, do what you want. And then everybody else thought we were supposed to only do like 10 minutes. We went a half hour. But man, if that match from beginning to end, those fucking people did not sit down.
now they're on their feet.
Yeah, and that was one of my favorite matches. And then that finish, Scarbonis came out,
Right.
and like oh my god,
We
that
stole the
crowd-
finish.
Wait,
It was a stole. It was so hot. man.
So is this on YouTube?
Yeah, it's up there.
Is it on YouTube?
I
I know the
believe so.
cage matches.
Yeah, it's up there.
The cage match was good too. The finish to the
you should
cage match.
post
was
it
So,
to our
ladies and
page.
gentlemen, look up Orlando Christopher
And Hakim Zane. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me some rub.
Yeah, no, and I
But-
definitely will because like one of my favorite matches was when it was supposed the joke the big rib is like me and Rhino every time we were supposed to wrestle each other. Either Rhino wouldn't show like for four or five
yeah.
times, and then
Terrence
one time I
Guido.
didn't show. But so he was sick with the flu. He already wrestled once. And then we wrestled again, and I remember I smoked him with this forearm, and he was like, "Oh fuck, dude!" I was like, "I'm sorry, man." I just fucking wham, killed him with
Just to
it.
put context, like I wasn't planning to wrestle more than once this night.
Yeah.
I didn't want to wrestle once. I already did my match, and then Rhino didn't show up. So like, hey, we need you to work with Zane in the main. And I'm like, oh fuck.
It was good though.
I'm dying, right? Like
he was
I could
fucking
barely
dying.
breathe. I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure?
Oh fuck!
But yeah, no. So we did this match in Toronto about a year ago. It was a
Oh,
triple
shit.
threat, and so if you don't know, I work snug. Use also works snug, by the way. So, anyways,
I got a
we're
story about that, by the way.
we're in he's got somebody in a hold or a pin. And I'm supposed to break it up.
Crossface.
I'm supposed to break it up, but that's what it is. He's going to tap out, and I catch the guy's hand.
Yeah.
So I catch the dude's hand, but I still have to break up the submission. So I don't have like a good leverage shot.
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
So I have I don't have a good leverage shot, so I just hammer fist him. But I missed his head and just caught him on the bridge of the nose.
I think it was like twice.
And if you don't know, you think you probably know it is. So
Oh my god.
if you know anything about getting hit in the bridge of the nose, I have a 3-year-old son. If he hits you in the bridge of the nose, it fucking hurts.
Oh, yeah, you automatically you start getting tears.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I hammer fisted him.
I've been in my forever share of bar fights. So
Yeah. So I get these hammer fisted him a couple times, and that's kind of routine for me and him because there's a couple times he lined me up to kick me in the chest and just miss and kicks me right in the face.
Oh my god! You and Jake, I caught you guys with that, and you guys, I think it was the same thing where you guys were holding
Yeah.
the other guy, and they
Yeah.
fucking just
Someone's holding you, so
Oh,
you're,
crap.
your arms are
Yeah.
back behind you,
I just lit him up.
right to the face. So that's what it's like working with him.
The same.
He knows. Yeah.
And the same thing.
It's a
We
rub
were
with a
at
shovel.
war. We were doing a match, and you forearmed Jake in his nose. He was so pissed.
So Jake
Jake
something's
Something's-
big monster
Yeah.
of a man.
Big monster of a man.
we have
Uh,
him on the show now.
Yeah, Jake.
Nah, he don't need to be on the show. He's fine.
Right. Yeah. plus he sucks. Am I right?
Yeah,
You-
he sucks.
Am I
I'm
right?
just kidding.
Am
So
I
I,
right?
so I love we love
love
Jake.
Jake.
That's our other boy, and we were doing this match, and I was with Jake's group, and they were I was turning babyface, so they were this was my night to turn babyface on them, and I had this visual in my head of Roddy Piper when I watched him turn babyface this one time, right? So I just went crazy, right? Like I legit just lost, and I'm throwing these forearms, and I caught Jake in the first one. Right to his nose, busted him wide open.
Yeah.
Now, if this was anybody besides me, because I'm Jake's boy, he would kill him.
He,
right? Like,
he saw red.
He'd be
I looked at his face.
He'd be
I said,
furious. you know, but like it's me, and it's like oh, it's hybrid again. So yeah, I busted Jake open. I got him a couple hammer fists. It's like when you work with your friends, you lay it in a little tighter, but you try not to hit him in the nose. But
that was one thing when I went to Impact. I didn't want to be that guy, and I remember wrestling Eddie Edwards, and they said, "Hey, if you're going to be a striker, lay it in." And I remember when I went there, I didn't want to lay it in because I didn't want to be the guy just fucking lighting guys up with chest cakes and stuff like that. And Eddie Edwards lit my ass up with chops, but I knew that because he likes to chop. And I remember Sanjay pulled me aside. He says, "You're a striker. You either throw them strikes or you don't throw them." And I was like, "Well, thanks for telling me that because I don't want to be that asshole that comes in like and just
fucks up an established guy."
Yeah, you know what I mean? And he even told me the same thing. And I thanked them both for telling me that. So next time in January when I go back down there, I'm fucking lighting guys up. So, but I usually do, and I pulled it because
he's missed out.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And even I remember Bravo, the ref. And he's like, "Yeah, I understand why you didn't do it. You didn't want to go in there and light up a established guy." And I was like, "That's exactly why. You know, I didn't want to do it the whole week, but now I got the okay to do that." And it's not like it's hurting, like I'm going to go out there and hurt guys,
Right.
but you know, you're going to feel my chest kick. You know what I'm saying?
It was funny. We had Tim Horner Jr. on about a month ago. We were all maybe a month and a half. We were talking wrestling etiquette because it's something that came up a couple different times on the show. Obviously, having Orlando as one of the co-hosts. And that's just seems like something that would be out of it. It's like, I'm coming in here, I'm trying to show that I'm not trying to be an asshole, I'm not trying to be dominant, I'm trying to be your peer. I want you to feel safe with me, just like I want to feel safe with you. Therefore, you know, you're
trying to pull a punch or two.
And when it comes to working snug, I just feel like it's important to note that some guys don't like working snug. Some guys do not enjoy being hit.
Nope.
And they will cry.
Do you think there's a difference between snug and stiff?
Of course there's a difference. I mean, you shouldn't be busting Jake's nose open. You know what I mean? That's not good.
So that's like going from snug to stiff.
Yeah. But like, I mean, a shoot forearm to your neck, you're going to feel, but it's not going to kill you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Unless you're Tadarius Thomas throwing one.
Oh man,
Former Ring of Honor talent. He used to kill everybody.
Dude, he knocked you out in the corner that one time.
Yeah, he hit me with an uppercut.
Yeah.
He uppercut me for real.
TD was a lizard.
Is that the guy that went to MMA?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was
Well,
in Ring of
from
Honor for a
MMA.
minute?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
He's another guy.
Is he from Michigan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
House of
Okay.
Truth guy helped train
I
him
know
too.
that guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's another one of our friends, and so he caught me with an uppercut because they used to tag team Tadarius and Zane.
Man.
And so we were doing this tag team feud with them.
Hot.
And it was good.
It was, man.
And so I got caught with this uppercut in the corner, and I just sat down in the middle buckle and said, "Go get Kevin." The other guy, like, "Go
And then
get
we
Kevin."
let Kev up.
Like I just sat there. I'm like, "Go get Kevin."
like,
It wasn't a sell.
No, you were legit stunned.
No,
right
yeah,
there.
I just sat down. I said, "Go get Kevin."
It's funny because I know you guys are going to talk about some Matt Hardy stuff later, but it's funny because we had this hot tag feud, and I'm pretty sure we asked them, we said, "Hey, what can we do for a blow-off match?" And they said, "Do whatever you want." So
That's exactly what they said.
we said, "Okay, tables, ladders, and chairs." And they got mad at us because they brought in Matt Hardy. And then like, "Why would you guys do a ladder match? And we're having Matt Hardy here, yada, yada, yada." And we're like, "Well, we asked you, and you told us that we could do whatever the fuck we wanted. So why not do tables, ladders, and chairs?" And I will say this, that match was hot.
Yeah, it was
like
good.
Yeah, I got speared. I remember, I'll never forget that. I got speared. I was on the apron. Kev speared me, and we fell through the table to the outside. And I busted my elbow open. My bursa sac was all like, it was like just, it was huge.
Yeah.
It was like this microphone.
a nice little thing there.
It
Those
was.
tag matches at that time. Right before XI kind of blew up and became decent for a while.
I was legit coughing.
We've also got some heat.
More than once.
Yeah, and I always say it's bullshit that you got heat. I get heat because it's me, and I am very opinionated, right?
See, Orlando, listen to this. You may do a business unless you piss somebody off.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but like so, Zane is probably as good of a professional as you can be. Shakes everyone's hand, does everything right. And he kind of referenced it earlier, but we did that match we're talking about where it's about 30 minutes or whatever.
It's
and
for the XICW Intense Championship or something?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
And so
Posted on our Facebook page and
Sweet.
Twitter.
But so as we're going through the curtain, we don't know how long we have. No one's told us. So we ask one of the bookers, Brian Gorey, and we asked him, "Hey, how long do you want us to go?" And he's like, "I don't care. Yeah, I don't care." That's Brian Gorey. I don't care. So we go out there and we worked as long as we wanted, right? So we worked 25 fucking minutes, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And next show, they do a pre-show meeting and they single us out in the pre-show meeting in front of everybody. So it's not even just like they took us off to the side, which would have been the professional way to handle it. So they bury us in front of everybody, saying, we went into business for ourselves, all this crap, and none of that was fucking true. You know what I mean? What it was is somebody didn't tell somebody about times or something.
Yeah.
And rather than that person take the heat, they just passed the buck along and pretended like we did whatever we wanted.
Yep.
And so, like, there's probably already heat on me for being opinionated backstage, but then they buried him too, which I had more of an issue with because
He was part of whatever.
Right. Zane is, again, consummate professional. You know what I mean? He's the guy that literally does what he's told. You know, he shows up to work, works
Too
hard.
Too nice. Sometimes.
Yeah, too nice.
I was told that you're too nice.
Yeah, too nice. And I still got that kind of heat. So I mean, it's just like one of those things. Like you're gonna get heat no matter fucking what in wrestling.
Yeah, but I remember I had said something. I was the first one to say something, and it was good that I said something because he was stewing.
Oh yeah,
And
I
he
was ready
wanted
to kill
fight.
everybody.
Yeah, he was ready to fight. And I said,
ready to
"Well,
fight,
hold
yeah.
on." When I knew something was wrong because I remember we got like the match was like the way it was booked. We were at the time we were the two. Everyone wanted to see us go at it, and because we were like the baby and the heel,
And they had
I was-
accidentally booked us away from each other. So I had been
Yes.
built up on one side, and he had been built up on the other.
Yep.
And they kept us apart. I don't think they did it on purpose. There was no, "Hey, we're doing this," so that
Yep.
way they can. But it was just the perfect timing for it.
And people kept saying, well, what match do you want to see? Everyone's like, man, I want to see Hybrid and Zane. And then I remember because I was like, man, we did a fucking good job. And I remember walking back to the curtain, and I remember Colt Cabana goes, they just went a half hour. And I was like, man, I didn't think we did anything wrong. And I remember nobody came up to us besides some of the other guys and said, good job. And they're like the brass, whatever you want to call them, came up to us. And then I remember they were posting on Facebook about good matches, and they didn't mention us. I was like, man, I thought we killed it. And I was like, oh man, I bet you we got heat for something. And then we went the next show, and they were said all that, and that's when I was like, well, hold up, man. There must be miscommunication somewhere, because I was like, we were told we had whatever time we wanted, and we told someone there's more heat because the finish too or whatever.
Which they were wrong about it too. but-
Yeah, and then it was fine. It got squashed because it was all miscommunication. But like he said, it was somebody not stepping up and taking the
heat that they deserve.
Yeah.
And so they pass it on to us. And it's very easy to give me the heat because I'm the guy always going, hey, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you, this dude right here.
I'm always like, I don't know. Like, what about this instead? I'm always trying to make sense of everything. And,
Yeah. Makes sense is one thing, but like, I'm like, okay, let's see what we can do. See what we can work out. And Chris is like, nah, fuck that. We're going to go talk to him.
So in other words, the compromiser, the bullhead.
Yeah. Yep.
but
Compromiser.
Did you not learn anything from
confrontational.
AJ Styles when he told you when you want to get things to work in your
But-
way,
but
make
it's
it
not-
seem like it's their idea?
it's never the talent that I have an issue with. I'm always real professional with the other talent. It's the booking and promoters I have an issue with.
Rebellion. He's a brother at heart.
Yeah,
Rebel. He's anarchist all the way.
but he's right though.
Let's be
'cause
honest. He a nigga at
So when
heart.
they called us out in front of everybody, it is good that he said stuff because I was ready to snatch Gory, who's my friend. I was ready to snatch him up by his throat because he was pretending like he didn't tell us to go and pretend like he had no idea. Yeah. And again, guys just don't want to take their fucking heat, so they pass it along. And I don't mind taking heat when I deserve it, but I didn't deserve it that night.
No.
I feel like that's probably pretty
So how did the
commonplace
finish
in the
get
wrestling
you heat?
business, huh?
It
Where
is. There's it's
guys
always
trying to
time.
pass the buck on heat and
Yeah.
not taking
Especially-
accountability for things.
Especially if you're with
Man, the
like,
fuck up.
other guys that are like up there, and then something
That's
gets
life,
fucked up
son.
in the match, and then if you're like that guy, they're like, well, it was his fault. You're like, fuck. Like, what am I gonna say? Rat this motherfucker up because he's been wrestling for 20 years,
Right,
Or do
especially
I
when
just say,
someone's
okay,
got-
yeah, it was my fault.
Got the
and just
seniority
swallow it?
on you.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, it's so to me. I love wrestling, but some of it sometimes can be very high
No,
school.
we had that
and shitty.
we had that Atticus
That's why it's
show
great.
at the one that Mikey was talking about where Tim Horner was on, and some of that stuff just blew my mind. Like,
Yeah, man.
unreal.
Oh yeah, I mean the rules are really insane, and I said everybody's looking for a reason to knock you down.
Yeah.
Like with the exception of your friends, everyone's looking for a reason to go, okay, well, fuck him now. And it really is.
That's too bad.
It is.
It's just dog eat. Even with your friends though, you're like. You still want to see everybody succeed.
You want to see them, but at the end of the day, it's a competition. You're trying to get yourself over. No offense to your friends, you're not trying to get them over. You're trying to get yourself over. You know,
and that's what it is. It's dog eat dog, man. Unfortunately.
All right. So you said earlier that the finish to that match got you heat. How?
Because it was the House of Truth at the time, so it was me, managed by Truth Martini, and we had this tag team, my favorite fucking tag team, Scarbonis, who are so underrated in just psychology and work. But anyways, they did something with DBA at the time. We didn't know DBA was on commentary because they would let guys go out and commentate, and it's right over there to the corner by the ring. So we did this finish where he has me beat. He hits me with this fucking diving, coast-to-coast diving headbutt, hits me with a 450. 1, 2, Scarbonis come out, hit the ring. It's no DQ. And then they fuck up hybrid. Hold hybrid. I fucking double stomp him through 2 chairs. But DBA, who just had something with Scarbonis, is right there and technically should have ran out to the ring, made the save. But we didn't know that he was going to be out there. This was our finish. We got the finish okayed, and then that was the same thing. It was like a miscommunication thing where they were like, no, I didn't know what the finish was. Like, yeah,
what it was is it made DBA, who's the promoter, look stupid because he's just standing there while the guys he just had this thing with is watching as they all jump me. Again, we didn't know he was going to be out there. And that said, if it's your show, why do you not know the finish to what's going to happen? Because they have like fucking 5 dudes booking the show. That's the problem. They have too many fucking people booking it.
Too many fingers in the pot.
Yeah, too many Chiefs, not enough Indians, right? And so, anyways, I had the finish cleared and okayed, but then over time, because now DBA looks stupid, he's mad about the finish. And so rather than said person again saying, oh no, I okayed the finish, they pretended like we just called that on the fly and they had no idea. And they were also really upset at the finish because they thought it had too much heat on it, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted us to have this really good match where the people are on their fucking feet and we have them right here, and then we yank it from them. We take it away and we leave it with all the heat because we got the cage match coming up.
Yeah. We didn't at first, though, remember?
Well, we had something coming up still.
Yeah.
Leave them wanting more.
So my idea was we take it away because we got something bigger coming where we'll give them the finish then. So my whole idea was we have them steal the finish from the people. So that way they're fucking furious. You know what I mean? And it worked. Like everything that we did worked.
So
yeah, it was such a turnaround from like these fans that are on their feet enjoying the match to immediately like fuck. Yeah, like what the fuck? Like you ruined my night.
It's good heat though. Yeah. That's like legitimate heat.
So we thought we did a great job, and then we got buried for the finish. We got buried for the match, all this stuff, and it was uncalled for heat, definitely.
I definitely enjoyed my time with Truth. I really enjoyed working with him and the Scarbonis because they're so smart. And at the time, Jimmy Jacobs was with them, and it was cool because at the time, like Jacobs was like, "Well, I don't want Hakim with the group, yada yada yada." And Jacobs and I would always butt heads, right? So I was this young upstart, loudmouth, prick. And then there's Jacobs, who's the wily vet. And it was cool because we had something building up to me and Jacobs at the time. And which he's very smart. Like I always compare him and Orlando here because they're very smart when it comes to wrestling. And I couldn't wait to do it. And then Jacob said, you know what? Screw Hakim. It's either him or me. So all of a sudden the whole House of Truth was right there. And then they look at Jacobs and we whoop his ass. And they were supposed to have this huge thing with me and Jacobs, but then he got the gig to WWE. But now we come full circle to December 3rd, BCW at the Diamondback Saloon. It's myself versus Jimmy Jacobs versus Kaito Kiyoma, who's fucking fantastic, and versus Petey Williams in an X Division Showcase match.
Yeah, 4-way X Division Showcase match. Impact cameras are going to be on hand for this. Again, it is Border City Wrestling's Motown Showdown, December 3rd, 6 p.m. Diamondback Saloon out in Belleville, Michigan, 49345 South Interstate 94 Service Drive. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get tickets to that, you should, because on top of Hakim Zane wrestling right? Which is huge. Huge. You get us.
Huge. Absolutely huge.
Us doing a live remote broadcast. Breaking Down the Ring crew will be there with Podcast Detroit. You guys can get your tickets at bcmotownshowdown.eventbrite.ca. And that's bcwmotownshowdown.eventbrite.ca. Go to Border City Wrestling. At Border City Wrestling at Facebook. They got everything set up there at BC Wrestling on Twitter. And on top of Hakim Zane Wrestling, there is going to be a match, a triple threat match for the Impact Wrestling Global Championship. Eli Drake will be defending against Johnny Impact, who was mentioned earlier when he cut off Hakim in his promo.
Jesus.
And Alberto El Patron. This is all going down in Belleville, Michigan, just outside of Detroit, this Sunday, December 3rd. In Belleville, Diamondback Saloon. Everyone wants to be there. If you guys need to know, you can go to our Facebook.com/BDRcast and Twitter at BDRcast. We got the links for the event up there as well. Before we wrap up,
they're lucky I'm not in that match, by the way, because we'd have a new Impact champion. They're very lucky.
I think we could.
Especially on Impact.
What are your goals for Impact? So, like, you're going in now. What are you? Obviously, everyone's like, "Oh, I want the top strap." That's everybody's main goal for no matter what.
Right.
Because if you're in wrestling, that's what you want. You want to be the best. Oh, we said it earlier.
Right. If you don't want to be the best, then you shouldn't be doing this.
Right. So besides being the number one guy, are there any goals that you have on a list for yourself to the side that you want to attain?
Yeah, if you look at Impact, the hot thing with professional wrestling right now is a lot of the high flyers, right?
X
Division, right? I'm not a high flyer. I can do some high flying stuff, but I am a huge fan of submissions like the Dean Malenko and like a more hybrid martial arts style. So I want to separate myself from everybody else, and I always consider myself, I've been saying this, and I don't want to rip off Lex Luger, but I'm a total package. Right. Because I can go on the ring, I have a good look, I can put on a great show on the ring, and man, can I talk my ass off. And I think my promos are one of the things that separates me from everybody else. Guys got promos being written for them, and guys scared to even get a microphone in front of their face. You give me that microphone. Please, dear God, let me talk on the microphone, because I'll talk forever, and it will never be anything. It won't be the same thing over and over again.
I believe it.
And that's one of the things I want. And I want people to, I always say, know your worth. And I will say this, and I don't want to come across like, egotistical or whatever. I know my worth. When I went to Impact and I got in the ring with the people that I got a chance to be in the ring with, I learned a lot. That's what I need to be at that next level. I need to be in the ring with guys that are at that next level to help me learn, and that's going to help me be the best. But I think that if they let Hakim Zane be Hakim Zane, they put me in the ring, let me do my thing, they give me a microphone, let me do my thing, people will start to realize that I've always been professional wrestling's best kept secret. I always tell people, and this kind of goes to the catchphrase, Orlando. I'm not gonna. It's
I was waiting for it.
I always say, like, I consider myself not a star, but the star, the sun. That's why I get, I use the sun as my catchphrase and yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? The sun it's always in the sky. You know what I mean? It's always shining bright. People almost never stop and bask in its glory. They never stop and appreciate the sun. They never stop and realize this thing is amazing. That's me. I've been here for almost 9 years. So many people have always said, you're really smooth in the ring. You got charisma. You got what it takes, blah, 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 blah. Now it's my time. Now I'm going to be on national TV. Now I have a little bit of a company backing me. Impact needs to see what I can do. The fans need to see what I can do. If you give me the ball, I'll run with it. I have no issues running with the ball. You just put me in the ring. You let me do my thing. You give me a microphone. You let me cut my promos. You let me say my catchphrases. You let me be me, and the rest will take care of itself.
Damn.
We got an exclusive promo from the one and only.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, we are sitting down with Hakim Zane, the winner of the Impact Wrestling Global Forge competition, the Mad Dragon himself. You guys can follow him on his social media, Hakim Zane, on the Facebook, on the Twitter at Hakim Zane. If you don't know how to spell it, well, you're an idiot. Or it's HAKIMZANE.
You got some other shows coming up too that we wanted to point out.
Yeah, man, go ahead and plug other things.
Yes, man, we have Super Kicked coming up. Mr. Orlando Christopher will be back for that. Are you going to be in the ring for that?
No, I won't be in the ring yet.
Not yet.
No, I'm just backstage agenting.
Super Kicked is probably, man, it is so hot. Look up the videos. That Toronto crowd. Oh my God.
Yeah,
one of the best shows you could go to.
We have shared quite a few of them. Him winning his ladder match and everything with the pulling of the key.
That was one of the most inventive finishes I've seen in my life.
When I saw that and we were talking about that backstage, I was like, dude, that's genius. That is genius.
I didn't come up with it, thankfully. It was not my idea, but I'll take all the credit you guys want to give me.
Take all that credit. Take all that credit.
I went back and watched it, and like that was one of the most inventive finishes I've ever seen to a ladder match in my entire life.
Super Kick's blowing up there in Toronto.
It should be.
And they're also on that new
Global Wrestling Network, and you can find that sweet picture of me hyping up the Global Wrestling Network.
So, like a lot of the stuff that you guys are doing is, Canada based lately. Impact has moved up there,
right?
Can you explain a little bit the relationship between like Impact and Border City?
Well, Scott's a big wig at Impact. And of course, Border City is his baby.
Okay.
And I believe, I don't know all like the logistics of like the Impact stuff. I think Ed Norholm is from Canada, and he's like the guy I think he's the money guy at Impact. I honestly don't want to, say that.
Is it kind of a similar thing like what Ring of Honor and New Japan have going? They kind of
I think
go
so.
back and forth, trade talent.
But they also have Pro Wrestling Noah. Which is awesome.
Another
it's like a three-way, three-way relationship.
And the talent at BCW, the talent in Canada is phenomenal, man. There's so many great guys out there. Brent Banks, Tarek. I said your name right, Tarek. So applaud me for that. Phil Atlas, Bolin. There's tons of guys out there, and all over in Canada. So much talent. So it's good to see that. And something else in the BCW show that I wanted to mention before we break away, but is that on the BCW show coming up December 3rd, Jake Something is defending his Glory Pro title against John Bolin. Now, Glory Pro is a promotion down in Alton, Illinois, right on the border of St. Louis there, and it's Michael Elgin's promotion, and that promotion is blowing up. And you want to talk about
Child?
It is. It's War Child, which is you'll see him on Impact soon as well. But Glory Pro is blowing up. And in February, they're having their anniversary show, and Naito will be there. And if you follow professional wrestling,
we know Naito.
Yes, you know Naito. And I never forget, we sold out. It was a show. Cody Rhodes was there, and it was a show during, I think it was July. I could be wrong. 600 only. It was 600 plus. They had to shoo people away at the door. They announced Naito at, I think, the Glory Pro show in October. And it almost sold out right there.
Damn.
And there's only 50 seats left. And this show isn't until February.
And where's that at?
It's going to be I believe still in Alton, Illinois. You know what? Elgin will kill me if I don't find out. So I'm going to.
That's not a guy you want to have heat with.
No. I love Elgin. He's honestly been
somewhat of a mentor, it seems like.
Elgin he's helped me out. If he told me, he said, "Hey, I want you part of my show."
He's fun to watch in the ring, man.
Dude,
he is impressive.
Unbreakable
Indeed. Let me find it. Because like I said, he will.
If you don't know anything about Michael Elgin was one of the biggest ROH stars for the longest time, and he's still
powerhouse
in Japan.
Understatement.
Dude, killing in New Japan right now. So here we are, February 18th. It's on a Sunday.
Him and Cobb in that.
It is at
Tag League.
1 Hairpin Drive, Edwardsville, Illinois, Meridian Ballroom. A few tickets still available. We're going to have Naito there. AR Fox is going to be there. Trevor Lee is going to be there. Hakim Zane is going to be there. That's all you need to know.
That jabroni Jake
really.
Something will probably be there.
Defending his title, of course. But it's that show has taken off. And you always hear about certain indie promotions, you hear about AEW, AIW.
ICW.
PWG. I'm telling you right now,
I
Glory
love
Pro,
PWG, actually.
Glory Pro, the talent there, phenomenal. And the shows, I got a chance. Elgin had so much confidence in me. He said, "I want to put you in the ring with better guys." He put me in the ring with Shane Strickland, and I learned so much and went to war And the people there, now they're starting to see, well, this guy, he's legit. And that's such a good feeling when people don't know who you are. I never forget, I walked out that show at the 600 plus show and they didn't know who I was. And they made crickets. There was just nobody, they didn't do anything. By the time I left, they're like, oh, dude, great job. Come back. And then when I came out at the last show, I had a really good, a good pop, and that was really good. And they were chanting my name against Shane Strickland, and that was something that meant a lot to me. And I want to put myself over real fast.
Go for it.
I never forget, it was at the one show, the sold out show that had 600 people. Cody Rhodes was there, right? So of course, wrestling etiquette, you say your goodbyes, right? So Cody Rhodes, they're doing some, I think it was for, God, I can't remember the name of the website. That sucks. But they were doing a Facebook Live thing. So I go to say goodbye to Cody Rhodes, and I've talked to him a couple times. He's a huge Star Wars fan. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, so we shoot the shit on Star Wars. And so I said, hey, man, am I interrupting anything? He goes, no, man, we're just doing a Facebook Live. And he said, hey, put yourself over, kid. So I cut a promo. I cut the promo and I left. And then I watched it afterwards to see if the promo was good. And I always watch my shit, not because I'm a mark for my own shit. I'm actually my own worst critic, and I'll pick it apart. But after I cut the promo, I watch it, and Cody Rhodes goes, wow, I did not expect that. He said he cut that promo right on the spot, and Cody Rhodes put me over on Facebook Live.
Nice.
Like, big time. He said, that guy's a blue chipper. And to me, he probably won't remember that shit, because he deals with stuff all the time. But to me, I was like,
sounds like one of the biggest rubs.
Yeah, I was like, man, this dude just put me over on Facebook. And that's it wasn't even my best promo. It was like one of my worst, but he put me over on Facebook.
Still sweet.
And, yeah, it was, and I got the catchphrase in there.
I bet you did.
I did.
I bet you did.
But he put me over on Facebook. I'm like, that's fucking sweet, because I love the American Dream, Death the Rose, Daddy, all the time.
Yes, Daddy.
How many road trips we go on? I'm talking like Death the Rose, baby. But the fact
That
that
is a damn good Dusty.
I love Death the
better than anything
I
Mikey's
think
done.
he should be our impersonator instead of
Daddy.
Hard times, Daddy, you know it. But he put me over, and I'm like, that's fucking sweet. Cody Rhodes just put me over on Facebook Live, so awesome. But Glory Pro, BCW, Super Kicked, and of course, Impact. You will find yours truly, the Mocha Skinned Manimal, Hakim Zane.
Mocha Skinned Manimal?
Hashtag Mocha Skinned Manimal. Hashtag the Sun. Hashtag Hakim Zane.
Take the sun.
I like this
Fuck
motherfucker.
science. Fuck science. Fuck all the other shit. The sun. It's me. Everything revolves around the sun, and everything will soon revolve around me. You better believe it.
Hakim, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you.
We wish nothing but the best for you with Impact, with everything you got coming up down the line. We're definitely going to see you again on Sunday, December 3rd.
I'm just going to say hi to you guys on December 3rd.
Dude,
Right?
jump on and have a couple words on the cast.
I will. I want to come in and just talk some shit real fast before I slap Raw and Kaito, Jimmy Jacobs, and Petey Williams and show Impact what's up.
Give us
Represent
a nice
for the big
snug
men.
nose bridge punch to Orlando.
I will. I will.
Yeah, you
Just
make
like-
sure it's
I think I'm
Orlando
just going
and
to throw
not
Orlando in
anyone
the
else.
ring. Just get him on the
Orlando.
show anyway.
Just a hammer fist, me.
Fuck them, represent for the mitten.
Motivate, baby. Damn right.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, you can find Hakim Zane on all of your social media. Make sure you hit him up on Facebook, Hakim Zane, Twitter at Hakim Zane. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, man. Hakim, honestly, you are officially our first in-studio guest. We've been doing this show for about a year and a half. People that seem to think we're doing something good, which they're fucking idiots.
K-Babe, man. K-Babe.
I mean, yeah, you guys are great. I love you, fans.
They love us in Mexico.
We'll get into
Huge
this
in Mexico.
Mexico.
Huge.
So yeah, Hakim Zane, thank you so much for stopping by, man.
Thank
we can't
you.
wait to see you Sunday
you.
and to have more dealings with you in the future, man.
Yeah,
More
bring me
dealings.
back.
Yeah,
bring
for
me
sure.
back just for the spread out there. I'm Thanks, Bob.
That's pretty sweet,
Thanks,
huh?
All
Bob.
right, we're gonna take a little bit of a break. We're gonna come back and then we'll start talking NXT Takeover, War Games, Survivor Series, and everything that followed, including breaking news from Impact with the Hardy brand stuff. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you so much to Hakim Zane for joining us in studio. Make sure you guys check him out on Facebook. Facebook, Hakim Zane. Twitter at Hakim Zane. Get him to follow. And if you're not yet if you do not yet have tickets to the Border City Wrestling promotion, make sure you guys come out and check that out, because we'll be there in house. Hakim Zane will be there. You know, all the Impact guys: Eli Drake, Johnny Impact, Alberto El Patron. Very good. Jimmy Jacobs, Petey Williams, a whole bunch of guys. Jake
Is
Something's going to
Alberto
be
El
there.
Patron actually going to be there, or is it just like one of those things where he's on the flyer and might not show up?
No,
he should be there.
He's scheduled in a triple threat match.
He's in a title match in the main.
I'm
I would
just
hope he
asking.
would be there.
I would assume he's going to be there because it's Scott D'Amore's promotion, and I don't think he's going to miss that because that's again one of the guys that helps out at Impact. So
Also, one of the guys you don't want to piss off.
yeah.
So let me before we go into all this stuff. Scott D'Amore is one of, like you said, one of the big guys at Impact. So he's doing the Border City Wrestling thing. What's your relationship with him?
Scott?
Yeah.
I get along with him fine. I thought I had talked about him a few weeks ago. Said he buried me one time, but since then we've been cool. But no, I get along with
Did you
Scott
throw
just
some
fine.
punches first, and that's how he changed his mind?
No.
He gets snug with the bridge of his nose.
Scott's a good guy, and we get along just fine. I don't have any issues with him. And if I was healthy, there's a chance that I'd probably be on this Border City show. I worked for Border City a lot over the years. They tried to get me on their last show, and I couldn't do it, obviously, because I'm hurt right now. So, again, Border City's always been a really good promotion. It's cool to see them. They're finally coming back to Michigan. They haven't ran a show in Michigan in years. So this is their first show back in Michigan. They do really well in Windsor. Their last show in Windsor, they drew almost 2,000 people.
It seems kind of odd that they haven't been here in years, being they're right in Windsor.
Right. But I think the risk is it's almost like how many people from their regular Windsor audience, and they do so well there, is going to come across.
Canada is a really tough place to cross.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
So I think that's
What's up, us?
one of the reasons they're,
Just ripping Joe.
There's stories out there of others as well. It's
No, I don't
It's
have
one of the tougher borders. It really is.
My
Actually,
friend got cavity searched, so I mean,
Did he like it?
Did
is
she
this at
like
the
it?
border, or is this just behind?
don't threaten me with a good time.
he's a very sarcastic person, and it didn't go well. So
You say he's ready for the exam.
he's not allowed
almost
back
there.
in Canada, for the record.
So again, the Border City Wrestling Show, Motown Showdown, going on at Diamondback Saloon. It's actually Diamondback Saloon hasn't hosted wrestling in about 7 years.
No, but
It's
it's
a
from what I've
fun
heard.
bar, though.
And the
It's
last
an interesting bar.
It's got quite a reputation. I mean,
and the last I heard, I know Petey Williams was cutting a promo on the Border City Wrestling Twitter at BCW Online. And he said the last time that wrestling was at Diamondback Saloon, he was actually winning over Bobby Roode. Like whatever the final match was, him versus Bobby Roode. So again, December 3rd, 6 p.m. You guys go to facebook.com/Border City Wrestling for more details, or BorderCityWrestling.com. Again, main event is a triple threat Impact Wrestling Global Championship match. Eli Drake defending his title against Johnny Impact and
Johnny
Alberto.
Impact is John Morrison, for those who
Johnny
were
Mundo
unaware.
for Lucha. Yeah,
Johnny World, John
Johnny
Hennigan.
Mundo.
just all the
Johnny
Nitro.
Oh,
Wasn't he like the first ever tough? No, not Maven.
Also,
Maven.
also in Glow.
Yes, he was
on
also on
Netflix.
Glow on Netflix.
Did he win? Was he in the first season?
He
or
did
second
win
season?
a Tough Enough, but it
Okay.
wasn't the.
It was like season
first
2 or
one was
3.
Did
He
the
won
Miz
it?
win the first?
Yeah.
No, Daniel Pewter. Miz was second place in the first one.
Whoa.
No, the first one was
the first
Maven.
one's Maven.
No.
Maven won.
Yes.
It was Daniel Pewter. David won
No,
season 2.
No. You're an idiot.
Maven won the first one, and Nydia.
You go ahead and go to your Google because Nydia won. Season 1 is the women. And
That was
Maven-
on MTV. Then they did like some smaller ones which are on their TV. And Daniel Pewter did win one of those a couple years
And then
later.
That's
they
when
did
the
that
Miz
one
came in
with
second.
Stone Cold on the USA Network.
Right. So they've done a couple of relaunches and stuff of it. But
Where he totally buried Matt Cross.
Again, so triple threat match. Eli Drake defending his title against Johnny Impact and Alberto El Patron. We also have Jake Something defending the Glory Pro Championship against War Child. We then have a tag team match. Idris Abraham and Joe Coleman versus A1 and Stone Rockwell. And as well, the four-way X Division showcase match that we were talking about earlier. Kaito Kiyomiya versus Hakim Zane versus Petey Williams and versus Jimmy Jacobs, and RJ City versus Braxton Sutter. So that's the card. We're going to be doing a live show, so make sure you guys check it out. Again, that's BorderCityWrestling.com, Facebook.com/BorderCityWrestling. Go there, get your tickets. If you guys want a direct link and you feel like typing all of that stuff out, let me tell you what that direct link is again. BCW Motown Showdown .eventbrite.ca. That's again BCW Motown Showdown .eventbrite.ca. Get your tickets for the card. Smitty, you
so
have.
Maven and Idiot won season 1.
Yeah, we know. We just said that.
Pewter actually won season 2.
Okay, but he wasn't season 1 like you said. Loser.
and Johnny,
hey,
Johnny
Smitty,
Nitro.
remember you're wrong again.
Johnny Nitro won season 3.
Yeah.
So, all right. We have been gone for 2 weeks, and so much fucking shit has happened in mainstream wrestling, and it's stupid. NXT TakeOver War Games. Son of a bitch, man. You know, we were all talking about it 2 weeks ago, how excited we were for this match. And
match?
The War Games match.
Oh.
And then 2 days after our show, Triple H announces on a fucking conference call that they're getting rid of the roof of the cage.
I didn't hear that conference call, but when I saw that, I was like, "What the f?"
They wanted that superplex high spot, and you had too many big guys.
The first one, someone tried to power bomb someone, and like they hit the roof, and it was a problem. But like, it's taller. It wouldn't have been a problem.
Right. Well, I told Mikey when they did it, I go, it's really disappointing if you wanted to see a War Games match because this is not it. Nope. I've seen the double cage on indie shows. Like, so to me, this isn't even like a special thing. Then I said to him, was the good news is with the open top is they can do more spots and crazy shit because now
the big guys.
But just in general, you can do more shit now that you have an opening up there. You can get up there and jump off, and you can do things from one ring to the other, and you can be more creative in that sense. So I said it might make the match more exciting in terms of spots, but it definitely takes away the nostalgia from the match.
See,
there's also WWE spin on it too.
Yeah, they just want to be. They don't want to. It's not their idea, so they got to make it their own.
But the nostalgia kind of died when it's not a 5-on-5 team going at it one at a time. Too. Like they changed the rules, they changed the way it's laid out.
They've had 3-on-3 in War Games before.
Yeah, but not the first one or the second.
No, it was the last one that was in that triple cage match. Where the match they called it War Games, but it was the
even the
no,
rule
before,
change.
even,
Was
even,
that
before
one
that,
they ripped off of Ready to Rumble.
Even one before that, because the one with DDP won, it was 3-on-3.
Okay, but we're just saying the rule change was one thing. Okay, I thought, okay, that's a little bit lame, but whatever. Then I thought, the minutes involved, wasn't 5
Releasing
minutes.
the whole team.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's a little lame. Then I thought when they got the fucking top off the cage, I was like, what the fuck? Okay, so it went from like, okay, all right, I don't like that either. And then to being like, seriously, what the fuck?
Yeah,
It's
like it's
WWE
still,
War Games.
with
I like the match though.
No, I
did
figured the
too.
match would still be good.
with the way it was set
It
up.
was.
No matter what they changed for the outside, for the additions, for the teams, for the time they came in, the bottom line was you were still in 2 rings enclosed by a cage. And then all of a sudden, you were no longer in 2 rings enclosed by a cage. You were in 2 rings with a cage around it.
Yes,
surrounded
by a cage, not enclosed.
Yeah, and therefore that's when it went away from the War Games because nothing that you changed previous to that.
It's still a double ring cage match that you have never seen in WWE.
agreed.
True.
But it's not War Games.
It's the WWE War Games.
But
it's not.
had they not called it War Games, had they called it something else and did that, I think it'd be fine.
But it's the WWE's
pretty
version
sure
of War Games.
they did this as a trial and error to see if it would get over, and the match delivered. So if they have to
With
put
the guys
if
in
they
that
if they
match,
have to put a
it could
roof,
not
if
deliver.
they ever do it on the main roster, they can put a roof on the cage or change the rules accordingly or whatever. I think for the trial run, it was a good match.
Well, let's ask Callie.
You
Callie,
can sell
hold on,
cage.
Smitty. Ask Callie because she was going to give her opinion on this. So what did you think of this?
So going in, I said, we'll see what happens when we get there because I didn't have
You saw
much
a couple
hype with it.
of
I
older
did.
ones before
Yeah.
this one, though, right?
Right, and
Okay.
I thought kind of
So
like
you had a bit of a perspective.
yeah, I had an opinion on it,
Okay.
and then when you guys are talking about what you think it's going to be like coming up, I was like, well, we'll see because I'm starting to catch on. Like WWE loves to change things up; they don't like to keep things the same.
They like to make things their own.
Exactly. So
That's what I was saying.
I didn't listen to everything that was going to happen prior to. So when it happened, I was like, what? It wasn't anything spectacular to me. I wasn't impressed. I wasn't intrigued. It just was there.
You weren't impressed by the match at all?
Meh.
I was
Really?
Yeah, I was impressed. Wow. If you look back at
I was, too.
like the first War Games,
I mean, there were spots that I was like,
Did anybody
That's
else
kinda
notice
cool, but-
at the end of the match? I'm sorry to cut you off, Callie, but they had to do quick camera cuts because everybody was bleeding.
oh no, dude, a lot of that was, I don't know if you saw
Like, that's one open
Alexander
hard way.
Wolf
Died.
He bellied a backed somebody off the turnbuckle through those two tables.
That was Akam.
Yeah, and he's like the table broke and just split
they
him.
stopped using that one ring.
It split him wide open, dude. He was fucked up.
I, watching that match, enjoyed the match up until the end of it. The finish of it, and I was
That's
talking.
the thing I had a problem with.
I was telling Z about it. I was like, man, I don't even fault the wrestlers for the finish of that match because
they worked their ass off.
Well, not just that. When he went and busted his head wide open on that other ring, that ring stopped being used. They never touched that other ring again.
Because he was laid out in there for a while.
And he eventually went back, rolled over and stuff like that. But
he did
when
come
the
back
finish,
after that. It took a long time, but he did.
I said that. When he rolled back over in there, they did that finish with the spot from the top. And
with Adam Cole just in there.
It felt like stuff was supposed to be happening in the other ring while they had that finish in there, and they just had to pop it off because they no longer had what they
second ring.
And that's why I told Z, I was like, man, that match was really good except for that finish. But I'm not even blaming the wrestlers for that.
No, they
it was circumstance.
Oh yeah,
dude got injured bad. Alexander Wolf, he had a bad cut.
Do we ever find out what happened to him with that?
I'm sure.
I didn't watch NXT this week, so
I think he's okay. It's just like a flesh wound, but it was a bad one, you know?
It's just a flesh wound.
Well,
it's okay.
When it pours blood like that, that's a big deal in wrestling, especially now with the no blood thing, you know?
Right. The rest of NXT TakeOver, what did you guys like, dislike?
I love the
What were
whole
your
pay-per-view.
takeaways? Yeah.
The whole pay-per-view was great.
I love the whole pay-per-view. My favorite thing is the fact that I was actually took by shock when CN almost won the title.
Me too. And
that was the one thing I thought I had a sure lock-in on a card that I did not get.
I picked a longer match time on my PW scorecard. I think I would have came closer to that if Drew didn't tear his bicep.
But he didn't tear his bicep to the end of that match.
He tore his bicep. Yeah.
But yeah, the end of the match was...
No, the final move.
The end of the match was, like, in time-wise, sooner than... Like, you don't think it would have went longer if he didn't?
No, it was when he hit that DDT off the top turnbuckle. Drew, there was a miscommunication in timing, and that
wouldn't affect the time.
No, because that was the finish. That's
Drew landed on the shoulder. Drew landed on the shoulder.
He tore his bicep.
Yep.
Okay. Either way, like, there's no way I expected Andrade Cien Almas to win that match at all.
I don't think anybody. That's what
did
made
anyone
the
here
greatest
agree with that.
turn in that whole.
Besides his joke pick, did anyone here pick him to win that match?
No. We all
picked McIntyre.
Yeah. You know what pissed me off is I was gonna pick Elmas. Like I was just like, well, it's his time. Like I know, but I read an article about like how it's his time and all this shit. Just some bullshit article online.
So I mentioned in the hallway. It's like he was the. I'm sorry.
Since Allie did my first picks and picked Drew McIntyre, I was gonna be like, I'll go with Elmas, and then I didn't, and then I lost.
My thing was. Only thing I was, I justified I justified me being wrong on this one by like, Almas is probably the guy that's been on the NXT roster right now that's been there longer than anybody else. It was his time.
No, I'm pretty sure Buddy Murphy is still on the NXT roster.
Okay, do you really think that Blake or Murphy they're going to give a
no?
I don't think Almas is there. I thought Drew needed a better run.
I do believe that too.
So then why would it, if you believe that, then why would it be Almas's time?
Here's my theory on why they had him win. Because I don't feel like Drew has any real competition they can put him with right down there.
He's
right
6'7" in NXT. Like
I just feel like so in order to elevate anybody to be competition with him, he had to lose and beat him. So they put the belt on Almas, I guess. I would assume to elevate him. To elevate him.
And at this point, I've said like the next face NXT champion is going to be Roddy Strong. If he doesn't get called up by Rumble.
So when Drew comes back, does he just go straight to main roster?
Well, being that he's hoping to make it back by Mania, if that's the case, he's not. I think he does main roster.
He'll debut after Mania.
The Raw after Mania, you probably see.
I mean, because he's 6'7". He's got experience.
He's got the look. He's got He's a lot better than he was in his first run.
Yeah. Does he really need to be down there? You know.
So, my favorite part of NXT War Games was the Aleister Black and Velveteen Dream match.
God, that match was awesome.
That match.
What did Melsner give that? Or
I have not seen any ratings on it. I will. What?
I want to be happy about being wrong on this one about how Velveteen Dream. I hate his gimmick. I love his in-ring work now. I really love his in-ring work.
I like the Rick Rude tribute on the tights. Changed. I like that whole match. That whole match was awesome.
I like how Joe just was like,
how is he like the only black guy you don't like?
I hate his gimmick.
Why? Why do you hate
his
his
effeminate?
gimmick?
No,
that gimmick is old as fucking wrestling. Adrian Adonis, Adrian Street. That's
fuck
just
you.
not
I have
new.
nothing against gay people. I have gay cousins, and I have one of my favorite people to work with is gay. So, you're gay too?
One of the favorite people I work with.
Yeah, dude. She just said bye.
She's like, bye.
Hey,
See you later.
You all know
Bye,
how I love to
Felicia.
see black guys get a good push in professional wrestling in general. For some reason, like, and also,
God damn
I think it's
Here he
more-
goes back to his. Never go on.
It's more my fandom for Prince. Prince is one of the things I did not like about the Velveteen Dream's gimmick. I still don't like it, but I've gotten past that after watching. This is probably the best match I've seen him put on.
So you
How do you
like
not like
Prince, but you don't like that he's emulating Prince?
That could possibly.
What? I don't understand.
Big
that.
possibility.
I
This
told
makes
you.
as much-
I don't understand
I warned Hakim Zane earlier before we went on the air.
Smitty,
I love his opinions. They're very emotional. They're very
so
passionate.
the
There's
logic-
never any logic.
More important than
No,
anything,
there's
they're very
no-
entertaining.
there's no
logic.
substance
So,
there
no,
at
maybe
all.
I like the original more than the imitation at this point.
Well, I would hope you like the
It's
original
just a
Prince.
form of flattery, dude.
But
I get that. And I say that all the time. Like imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, but I don't like. I think Prince is one of those guys is too iconic to me.
Out of here, I would love to like break down the things that I like that are the original and the things that you like that are like gimmicks off of the original. I would love to break that down off air sometime because I'm sure there's times that you love the gimmick of something that's off the original.
So I thought the match was
The match
amazing.
it was the best match on the card. Hands out. Go.
Do you want me to mute his mic?
No, he'll soon figure out, shut up. Let other people talk.
No, we won't.
We won't.
Yes, I will. Shut your fucking cock holder.
That's what we'd like you to do.
I don't suck dick. I don't suck. Ow.
That's why it's just the holder, because you don't
All right,
suck it.
your
You just
dildo-
hold it there.
Your dildo holder. All right.
You're the one that makes you suck it.
myself.
Oh, man. Okay, so
Smitty, I love you. Shut the fuck up, please.
All right, my nigga.
Thank you.
So I thought
fuck?
I told everyone once this match happened, I said this is probably one of the better matches I have seen in a WWE ring in a very, very long time. And it wasn't because there were with Orlando, he's like, dude, false finishes are bullshit. There was no false finishes. It was one finisher hit in that match. But the psychology, the way that Dream, the way that Black played off of each other from the build to the match, it was the standout match on that card for me. 100%. I as a matter of fact, even I put it even higher than Brock and AJ, which was the standout match of Survivor Series. I put it out there too on our Twitter at BDRcast. I was like, now that Survivor Series weekend is over, which match is better? Velveteen Dream, Aleister Black, or AJ and Brock? AJ and Brock won from the poll, but
Why? People not watch NXT?
yeah, dude,
That could
honestly,
possibly be a
that
thing.
could
That
be
could
a
possibly be a factor.
I mean, really.
yeah, 100%.
Wow.
It
I
blew my mind.
watched the Aleister Black and Velveteen Dream match twice in a row. Like I watched the match and then rewound it and rewatched the match because it was that fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it with my boy, a couple of my boys, and then the next day, me and my girl watched it again. And it was like, man, this is still just awesome, you know?
And what was I thought interesting to counter Smitty's point is you're saying you like his in-ring work. His in-ring work wasn't spectacular. It was character work.
Right.
It was everything he did in that match was character stuff. And the only thing that you could say in-ring work that I really thought was really good that nobody's doing, I loved his selling. He did a lot of over-the-top sells, but in a really good fucking way, and we haven't seen that in a while.
And it was such a psychological match to the point where it wasn't a bunch of strikes.
Right.
It started off with holds and
That
him,
match, they didn't do too much in that match. They did stuff,
They did a lot of
and
mind
what
games.
they did, they both made it mean something.
Right.
You know, like they
So,
sold for each other.
I'm going to give you guys 2 ratings. So, Z asked me what was the Meltzer rating on this, and I went and I looked it up. So these are 2 ratings that I'm going to give you, and off of these 2, I want you to tell me what you think Meltzer gave. Okay? Meltzer gave the Drew McIntyre and Almas match a 4-star match. Okay? He gave the War Games match a 4.5-star match. What, and we're going to go one by one, what do you think he gave Aleister Black and Velveteen Dream? And we're going to start with Z.
3.5 stars.
Okay?
4.
4.
You've seen it.
I see it.
I was gonna say, like, I was just gonna base it off whatever Orlando said, but you just cut him out. Probably 4.5.
4 stars.
So
Boom!
It was worse than the War
Well,
Games.
the way you put it, I thought it was lower.
So
Right, yeah.
It was worse than the War Games match, which it wasn't. And then it was on par with the Drew and Elmas match. It was.
It was not.
It was better.
It was
not.
literally
better
the
than Drew
best-
Almas.
The Drew and Elmas match was really good, but the
Velveteen Dream and Black match was great.
fucking great. Yeah.
I love that match, and I'm not the biggest fan of Velveteen Dream.
It's fucked up. I listened to Lance Storm and Cyrus the Virus, who's the American color commentator for New Japan, and they like buried this match. I usually agree with a lot of what they say. I couldn't believe it was like one of the first times I ever disagree with them.
What were they saying?
But Cyrus bears a lot of matches in WWE.
They went to the one of their biggest dislikes. They went to the end of the match where, you know, Aleister eventually said his name, which is what basically the whole program is built around. And they kind of like, well, that's kind of like, oh, that's this day now, the participation trophy type thing where like, even though Velveteen didn't win, he still gets like what he wanted. Like, you know, like he didn't suffer the consequences of losing. Like, since he lost, Aleister Black shouldn't have said his name, but he did. So like everyone goes home happy. To me, that's what I liked about it.
Yeah.
He earned it.
Like, to me, my argument against them was like, whatever happened to like putting on a great match and coming up, you know, just short.
Right, and but still earning
But
the
still, like,
respect of
earning
your
the respect
that's
of
what
your
I- that's what I
opponent,
said. He
your boss,
earned it.
and the fans. Like,
Yeah.
whatever happened to that?
Your,
So, yeah, it was one of the rare times I disagreed with those guys.
I said, living infamy Velveteen Dream was probably the best part of that match.
I mean, one little sentence, but it said so much. I mean,
Yeah.
it was great.
So
I thought
what-
it was great.
What are we giving our overall ratings for NXT TakeOver War Games? Start with Callie. Out of 10, obviously, because we're better than Meltzer. We can give a 6 and it won't be stupid.
Out of 10?
Yeah.
8.5.
Nice. Z.
No, 8.
No.
Sorry.
Fucking women are so indecisive.
All right. It's November. This is the best pay-per-view I've seen all year, so it gets a 10.
Okay.
I give it. So I was going to agree with Callie at first and say, but I'm still saying 8.5.
You guys also have to remember I'm grading on a curve here because it's the best one of the year. So it's one of them's got to get
No, it
a
was
10.
good.
The year's about over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that's the best pay-per-view I've seen all year.
Joe.
Yeah, I agree with Callie's original decision, 8.5.
No.
Whatever.
I'm going to go with Callie's second decision. I gave
Yeah.
it an 8.
Woo!
It was a very good show.
Yeah, I give it an 8 as well because there was
Yeah, it is.
definitely some parts of it that I was just like, that could have been better. But you're right. The build, the first 2 matches,
Dude, even
Every match
Cassius
on that card
Ohno, Lars
was
Sullivan, that was a
good.
sweet match, dude.
That sick ass
Yeah, it
DDT in the middle
was.
of that
Yes, it
match
was.
was still the part that got me. The dream hit.
so then Survivor Series hit, and this is where our points for pro wrestling scorecards went kind of awry.
Asterisk.
The whole fucking
So-
pay-per-view went awry.
Besides the pay-per-view, 57 minutes before the cutoff time for pro wrestling scorecards, our points were put in, and a lot of us had picked KO and Sami Zayn just to show up and do something, which they did, but they were announced in a match versus
pre-show match.
Brizongo.
Smitty didn't pick him.
I didn't pick him.
Which, that's what it tied
you.
me.
Others, a lot of us picked Elias, things like that. And Elias and Matt Hardy were thrown on there 57 minutes prior. Brizongo, KO, and Sami Zayn were put on there 57 minutes before the cutoff time. So a lot of our extra points went down the drain. But one of us didn't need extra points at all because he scored in the high 80s with both of these cards, and that is the brand new 3-time champ, Ring Crew champion,
Smitey the fucking mighty.
yeah, the guy who still can't spell his own name, but man, can he pick some matches?
The funny thing is,
You
I-
guys do
tag
realize
team
we
partner.
let
I crossed-
Smitty win the championship 3
We are
fucking
the
times.
Yeah.
Right?
BDR champions.
Is,
So-
is
the fact that
that
I
the
crossed
most
Jake-
title reigns in BDR history?
Yeah, I believe so.
Wow.
Yes, it is.
You're like
3?
Rick, you're like Ric Flair for a month.
So the funny thing is, I crossed Jason Jordan off my card twice.
You did. But there's also a loser that comes out of these, and
There's an asterisk by this. by the way.
there is
No, there's an asterisk by the guy that lost it, not by your shit.
Right?
Fuck you. The tattoo's gonna have an asterisk.
As it should. As it should.
Z got the lowest points for both of these, and we put up a poll on in our Facebook group, Breaking Down the Ring. You can find that by going to our Facebook page, facebook.com/BDRcast. Let's take you right to the group. And we also put it on our Twitter at BDRcast. 4 different types of punishments, and we let everyone vote. After we came up with these 4 punishments, what we did is put it up. Like I said, we put it up to a vote, and here's how it happened. There was a henna tattoo on lower back, and we'll wear a belly shirt each week until it's gone. Shave his head. The cinnamon challenge, where it's eating a spoonful of cinnamon and trying to swallow it all.
Yeah, within a minute.
Yeah, within a minute. And then 2 disgusting shots. We put these on the show, on the pages for votes. And then Z goes, why not an actual tattoo? And we all were just kind of like, what? Like, you know, Joe had made a mention of the BDR Kiss My Ass Club. And Z's like, if that
like, I
fucking
hate
wins, he goes, if that wins, you guys better be prepared for all your punishments. And I literally told Z, he's like, I wouldn't have anyone do a punishment that I wouldn't do myself. You know, these are fun. It's not meant to like fuck somebody over 100%.
Oh, God
you know?
damn it. I'm going to get a tattoo if I lose.
No.
Hey, listen.
No.
I
didn't-
lost.
Yeah.
I get a BDR tattoo. Now, if any of you fuckers get it afterwards, you're posers. So fuck off.
So that's the whole thing is when he was like, why not the real thing? I was like, because I wouldn't think I would do that right now. It's
I
not
sure as
something.
hell wouldn't.
It's a
You
big
know,
commitment to our
Yeah,
show.
I gotta put the fucking letters BDR.
I gotta respect
One
the
day,
man.
If this shit
He's
don't
got
work
faith
out,
in our show.
I'll fucking cover it up with something else. Like, goddamn it.
So
Put
therefore,
RIP above it.
we switched it up in the comments, and I made sure I posted a comment that said he changed it up.
If the show falls through, it could be Big Dog
Am I
Roman.
am
right,
I still
Smitty?
the only one that voted for the cinnamon challenge?
No,
Oh,
it's you and Aaron Hunter.
Dude, I actually
Who the
think
fuck
a
is
tattoo
Aaron
would be less painful than the cinnamon challenge.
So I wrote
Fuck that
update.
thing.
Z said he will get a real tattoo instead of the henna if it wins. However, it will not be a tramp stamp, and he wasn't going to wear a belly shirt anymore. So Z will be getting a tattoo, a BDR tattoo in the near future. And when that happens, we will have some cameras going. We'll probably do Periscope, Facebook Live, and get it up onto our YouTube as
and
well.
I'm getting it done on my ass so all of you can watch.
Is it really on your ass? No, I was about to say, holy shit.
My taint.
Now, that's fine then too. So let's go into Survivor Series. Survivor Series, the pre-show matches were Elias versus Matt Hardy, Enzo versus Kalisto, KO, and Sami Zayn versus Breezango, and then Shield and New Day kicked off the show. The women's elimination match went right after that, where the Raw women won. Then Baron Corbin versus The Miz, where Baron went over. Usos versus The Bar, where Usos went over. Charlotte then defeated the SmackDown champion. Charlotte defeated the Raw women's champion, Alexa Bliss. Then Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion, went over on the WWE Champion, AJ Styles, in a really good match.
Hell of a match.
And then the men's elimination match closed out the show, where Team Raw went over.
Hashtag clusterfuck.
So let's talk about the good. We're going to talk about the good first, which Shield and New Day was great, but Lesnar and AJ
Tore it up, down,
blew
and all around.
everyone's
Yeah, man.
mind. A lot of people expected AJ to kind of maybe get a squash, or maybe there was going to be a DQ.
AJ
The way the
pulled
match
so
started,
much
I
out
thought
of
it was
Brock,
gonna be a
dude.
squash.
Maybe you get a DQ finish out of that,
Pulled
because
so
some
much out of
people
Brock.
some people thought Jinder would come down. Maybe I even said that it's possible.
That's
that
why I
this-
took Jason Jordan for gender.
possible that the Shield was going to come down, things like that, where we did not really feel that they were going to have a decisive finish.
Not much
but
of a
it
build
did.
to the match.
It did.
Well, I thought it was going to have a decisive finish, and I was super impressed with this match. I had said I was curious to see how much Brock would let AJ get in.
A lot.
A lot. He let
And
AJ
at
get
first, you didn't think he was going to let him
Right.
get anything in.
yeah.
in. Yeah, and,
I was
and-
like, dude, come on. For a while, for like 5 minutes, I was like, please, AJ, please
right.
do something.
And I think that was what was perfect about it. I think the psychology in that match was exactly what you. When AJ hit shit, it was out of desperate. It came out of in the right places at the right time. And Zane said it earlier. AJ is literally probably the best in the world. I mean, as an in-ring performer, like he is probably the best in the world.
Paul
He
Heyman
told-
said his promo.
It's not
next
just
day.
that he
Yeah,
can
Paul
do
Heyman.
stuff because there's a lot of guys that can.
big time.
There's a lot of guys that can do stuff, but man, he told a great story with Brock, a believable story. And Brock, to his credit, sold that damn calf crusher like a fucking champ. He was limping out of there, and everything about it.
Brock
was so
sold
good.
for AJ 10 times more than I thought he would. Like I said, just from a fan standpoint, seeing I never did the show, never knew anyone in the wrestling business. I'm watching this match like for the first 5 minutes, I'm just like begging and pleading with the freaking TV, like, come on, dude, AJ, just do something, please, just one offensive maneuver, because he was getting his ass kicked for quite a while, and then he finally turned it on, and when he did, like you said, Brock sold for him like $1 million, dude. Like Brock put him over a lot more than I thought he would.
Bubba Ray, Bully Ray Dudley, has a saying that I put out on our Twitter after the Roman Reigns Elias match this week on Raw, where
That was a good match too.
where he says that matches are the best when someone goes over while the other person gets over. And AJ Styles was put over by Brock. Even though he didn't win that match, he came out of it looking like $1 million fucking dollars.
No,
Let's get Paul Heyman's promo
After the
afterward.
match as well.
But even Brock himself, like even after
Still selling
after the
the-
victory, walking his way up the ramp,
Yeah,
limping,
with the limp.
like looking back at AJ constantly, like fuck, what just happened to me? Who is this guy? I gave props to Brock for that. Like,
oh yeah.
like he sold his ass off for AJ, and good on him for doing that,
The
man.
last time I seen a Brock Lesnar match that I actually gave a shit about, that actually told a story like that one, was CM Punk at 2013 SummerSlam. Every other match he's had has been 8 minutes tops.
Yeah. He hasn't really put in a whole bunch of work with it.
Yeah,
Right.
but even with Punk, he let Punk do a lot of shit. Granted, it was before they had dismantle Cena and do the whole Suplex City thing.
Wasn't the Cena match after
No, the Suplex
that?
City.
Yeah, well, it was
the Suplex City thing was the Roman Reigns WrestleMania thing.
No,
Yes,
it
it
was when
was.
he fucking
No,
suplex John Cena
he-
16
No,
fucking
Blood
times.
raped Cena at
No, say no.
SummerSlam.
The
I think
term
it was 14.
Suplex City came from
Yeah,
that
you're both
WrestleMania
right.
match.
guys are both right.
Yes,
Calm down.
when he first said Suplex City, bitch, that was the Mania match. But you're right. When he put
The chant started.
No,
when he said it on Mania.
at Mania. 'cause
Probably, yeah.
I did like
one
the
of the
fifth
few
suplex.
times Smitty's right.
Either
Stupid.
way,
But either way, you're both right. Though when he started dominating with all the suplex and shit, that happened with Cena.
So I want to ask you guys this because off of this match, the constant talk right now is it's supposed to be Roman going over Brock at this year's WrestleMania in New Orleans. Do you think that's still happening? Z.
Yes, it's going to be.
Yes.
Oh, we're not giving it.
Yeah, I just want yeses right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's happening.
wait, that what?
Will Brock still put Roman? Will Roman take the title at?
Yeah.
I say no.
Oh.
Now here's why I say no. Because of the guy that Z just mentioned, CM Punk. When Paul Heyman cut his promo, he said that Brock Lesnar has the longest rating title
the last
in the
4
last
years.
4 years. Brock at WrestleMania will be about
It'll
365.
be exactly.
Not
not
depending on
today
yeah,
to the right.
but that's what I'm
And
saying.
Punk was in the 400s.
And Punk was in the 400.
434.
Do you think that there is
Fucking Mark.
You don't really?
Nope.
You don't think WWE is going to be like, fuck Punk, we're going to give it to Brock and then let someone put it over?
Maybe.
It's
No, they're
bullshit if
no,
they do
they got
because
they got their-
it's
Why is
not
that
to me?
bullshit?
It's because
He's
it's
explaining.
not a real 434 days.
'Cause he's so
Punk was a
part-time.
full-time champ. Yeah, absolutely.
You got a point there.
I'll say another thing is
But
like,
Brock is a more believable champion for that
But
long.
he only wrestles.
my thing is they're going to let Roman over because the company still has that whatever in Roman, even though I still say it's not there.
Okay. Now the absolute clusterfuck of Survivor Series was the men's elimination match, which somehow was still not the lowest rated match of.
According to Meltzer,
Yeah.
what's the lowest? Can we ask that right now? What was the lowest rated match according to Meltzer?
On Survivor Series
Yes.
card, Elias and Matt Hardy.
Really?
They got a
What was the
.25.
second
That's
loss?
like pre-show.
Second lowest
That
was
shouldn't count.
1.25 KO and Zane and Breezango.
That's pre-show. That shouldn't even count.
Okay, well, of the main card then, 1.75 men's elimination match.
Yes.
Just because it's pre-show
There
doesn't
you
mean it shouldn't count for ratings. I mean, they can still put on a really good match. Austin Aries and Neville put on a fucking
They put on the
phenomenal
best match of Mania.
for Mania, or on the pre-show.
They didn't get put on the DVD or get any royalties for it either. But
Still.
that's neither here nor there.
Just because you're on the pre-show doesn't mean you can have a.
Neither are either
Shitty
one of them.
So,
Suck asshole, Dave Meltzer.
God damn.
yeah, wow.
Smitty, you are in rare form tonight, buddy.
I don't
The
hit
men's
you that much,
elimination
Dave.
match did absolutely zero for the young guys that they have on their roster, which we got into an argument about saying the word young. Because he's all like,
my
they're
God.
not young. And I'm like, that look, young as
They're
36,
WWE
but
young.
they're younger
But
than the.
Now,
No, I like the term new.
I
They're
do
WWE
new
young.
works.
I do have an alternative. They could have had like a mid card Survivor Series match to showcase new talent.
But you still put them in there. You put Joe in there.
You put Rude, Nakamura.
Joe is 40. Okay, never mind.
Oh
Sorry.
my God. You are just like,
And
have a death
AJ's
wish.
41.
No, AJ's 40.
Is he 40? So you had Joe in there.
Don't age
You
my
have
man
Finn.
any more than he's
You have
all
Joe,
right?
Finn, Nakamura, Balor. You had a lot of newer, not technically younger.
And you're
talent
right.
in
All those
WWE.
guys are pushing 40, if not already 40.
Mikey, did you have something to say?
No, I have nothing to say. Go ahead, host the show, Smitty. Joe, go for it.
He said your name first.
He tapped Joe on the arm like, past you.
Yeah.
Pass.
What's that? Passing the heat, like we was talking about earlier?
He said, he just tapped you. It's your turn, man. No, that main event,
Piece of shit.
yeah, it was bad. Nakamura was the first one eliminated, right? Am I
Yep,
memory serving?
Nakamura and
No,
Rude.
yeah, he was.
I thought the women's Survivor Series match was bad too, but this topped that tenfold. Let's just talk about the end. I mean, it's really where shit really
The beginning
takes a
he's
weird
mentioned
turn.
too, though, like is the debate between young and new. They got out fucking Nakamura first, then like Finn, then Bobby Roode, and then you guys got guys left like Randy and John Cena, like who are eliminating guys, and like John Cena's there for one night and going back to his like. Does he really need to like last long or eliminate new guys?
I think so because
I
he's
don't
getting.
think
Well,
so.
hold on. I think the problem is that he's getting these whole chants about how he's just, he's just there when they need him, and he has to. I feel like you also have to prove that when he's there, he's really doing what he can, and that he's just not a filler and not just a seat filler
But he is.
and a money
at that point.
man.
I don't. I'm not
right,
disputing
guys.
that, but he doesn't have to be like one of the last and eliminating guys that they're focusing on every week.
I'm having a
But he
brain
pushed
fart
so
here.
hard.
Who did Cena eliminate?
Cena eliminated Finn or Joe. It was Finn or Joe.
No, because
No, it was Joe. I think
Finn
Joe,
did
yeah.
the coup de grace and angle pin Cena.
it was Joe.
He eliminated Joe,
Oh, okay.
and Orton eliminated Finn.
Now Orton shouldn't have been eliminating nobody. Period. I don't see the logic between
And
Orton
Nakamura
at all.
I love
came
that he
out
looks
hot,
20
like,
now
I
with his new
It
haircut.
was awesome. Like that match started off good, like especially like
Yeah.
when Orton was in there, and then like Finn got in, and Nakamura was like, like, ooh, give me that tag, and he tagged it. That was like sweet for a second, and then all of a sudden, who came? Was like Triple H that came in or something, then eliminated Nakamura.
Yeah.
Like why? You wrestle once a year on TV,
And I had
and you're
a
going to
theory.
eliminate Nakamura?
I had this
Come
theory
on,
that
man.
Triple H was going to look really strong in this match,
And he did.
and he fucking did.
He buried half the SmackDown talent.
Triple H didn't eliminate Nakamura. Braun Strowman eliminated Nakamura and Bobby Roode, both with the power slam.
But that makes sense to me.
I wasn't upset about those eliminations. I was upset that they were the first ones
I'm
eliminated.
not upset about who did it, but like the order.
Again,
I mean, somebody's gonna be eliminated first.
I look at it like this. Braun is your beast, right? And the minute they did the Nia Jax count out, I was like, fuck, Team Raw's going to win. Because unless you're doing that type of elimination with Braun, there
Like
was
last
no
year?
way he was going out of that match, the way they're building him.
Like last
He's too-
year?
Yeah, he's too fucking big. What?
Let me just ask you, what would you have done for order of eliminations?
For order of eliminations?
Yeah.
I would have had Orton go out first. I would have had Joe or Finn put out Orton. The fact that Angle got an elimination on Cena was absolutely fucking ridiculous. If Cena's literally only coming back for one night, there's no reason you can't help promote one of your newer guys to that level. Joe, especially the way you're building Joe now, there's no reason why Joe couldn't have done that.
Technically speaking, though, Finn's the one that finished Cena off. All Angle did was cover him.
Doesn't
I'm
matter.
right, but I
But
mean,
In the books, no
In
one's
the
gonna
books,
remember
elimination goes Kurt Angle.
that. Yep.
You know, the end of this match was exactly what it was built to be. With the minute Triple H walked out and announced him as the fifth person, it was straight up. This is going to showcase the three, the brother-in-laws and Angle, the three oldest people in that match. Triple H staring down Braun Strowman, basically saying,
The three
"Not
people
move."
that need it the least.
Yeah, there's no reason that match happened the way it should have, other than the fact that they were like, all right, this is going to be kind of cool. I don't give a flying fuck
They could've-
about Triple H and Kurt Angle at
Yeah,
Mania.
dude.
Don't care.
They could have done everything
and
they
I'm
wanted
an Angle
to.
mark, guys. I have said it over
So
and
am
over
I.
again. Angle's my number one.
It's a bullshit
the new
nostalgia.
rumor
It's
is they're
a
doing
bullshit
that at
nostalgia
Rumble,
pop.
and
They
doing
could've-
Strowman and Triple H.
They
at
could have done
fucking
everything
Mania.
they wanted to with Shane, Kurt, and Tripp without that ending. Like that was going to be there no matter what. They didn't need Survivor Series to make put those guys to the next level. They're already at the next level.
Okay, but let me just say it. So we're about you guys. So their thing is right now that they're trying to build up Angle and Triple H because we haven't seen them. We hold on.
My point exactly.
For the people that haven't seen them wrestle, think about the newbies, not us, because they're not catering to us anymore. For the most part, they're not catering to us. They're catering to the new people who don't know about these wrestlers. Yes?
Dude, why bring it back to old guys if you're catering to that newer audience?
Well, we can get to debate about that.
That's a
Let her
whole
finish her
different thing.
point.
So, if you have limited matches to showcase them before this whole big WrestleMania thing, yes? Because, I mean, they're not going to just flat out
Well,
put
yeah,
them in.
Between November and March?
Kurt
You
Angle,
have plenty
John
of
Cena, and
time.
Triple H are not going to be wrestling every week. So yes, you're right. They're going to have limited opportunities to showcase.
Yes. Okay. So, while I don't agree, I'm just simply stating that they have to build them up in some certain way. And they have to kind of show the new people what they're all about. So while we may disagree that like Kurt shouldn't have got that and that that the veterans shouldn't have been the stars of that and that the younger talent shouldn't have been part of the showcasing of it all. I think that that's what they're trying to go for. They're trying to show and build and get interest.
Now, my counterpoint to that is the people that are going to Mania that are already have purchased their tickets, the ones that you would be trying to cater these people to are not the ones that are buying tickets to see them. There isn't a single person who doesn't know about Triple H and Kurt Angle that's going to get to see what happens at Survivor Series or Royal Rumble and go, you know what? Maybe I'll buy tickets to go see that match at Mania.
Yeah, I mean, really, all they got to do is tap into the vault and build history from that. They've got plenty of history.
So when you waste a top 4 pay-per-view ending on those guys the way that they did, while it does set up for the matches, I get what you're saying where it puts an idea into them. the bottom line is you're trying to get more revenue from the people that don't just buy WrestleMania tickets because it's WrestleMania. Someone needs okay, it's WrestleMania, cool. What's there for me to give a shit about other than the experience? And that's when you want to put your spotlight on a guy like Joe, who, look, all things considered right now is going to be going into WrestleMania as your Intercontinental Champion, the way it looks like, right? So you want to put the spotlight on him in there. You want to put the spotlight on Finn, maybe, or even like a Nakamura, to where they're getting off offense. Look, Nakamura had one of the biggest fucking pops. Nakamura and Bobby Roode had two of the biggest pops in that match when they came in to have
Orton
those.
Tagged him in, and when Finn was in the ring, dude, that was like one of the biggest pops of the night, dude.
They blew
They
up.
had the hottest entrance in the
blew
whole
the roof off the place.
But look at him now. So Bobby Roode's going for the U.S. title against Baron Corbin, right?
Yeah.
You have Samoa Joe more than likely about to face Roman Reigns for the IC title at Royal Rumble, right?
Correct. But I do not agree with you that Joe's winning that title.
Okay.
Because if Joe wins that title, then you have a legit argument where Joe beat Roman Reigns for this title, so why isn't Joe facing Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania?
It could be.
You could say the same thing about AJ and Baron Corbin and Jinder Mahal and all that shit.
Also, I believe that's why I believe a SmackDown superstar is winning the Royal Rumble.
So
anyway,
that being said, the way all of that has turned out, you did nothing for them in this Survivor Series match to make them look strong going into Mania to sell
Or Royal
those extra
Rumble, at
tickets.
least.
I understand that. However,
All right, I love you guys.
they
I gotta go.
are going to have the opportunity to be on the shows on a weekly basis. And they have house shows that they can do that they're most likely going to be in. Yes?
Yeah.
These are your people that are like every night that they have a show, they're going to be on, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's not the case with Angle, and that's not the case with Triple H. And
I'm saying the ending. And I completely agree with you. I agree 100% that they have to get on this main show, this top 4 pay-per-view, one of the higher bought pay-per-views on the network. They need to have some sort of showcase. I agree with you wholeheartedly. However, to the point where it was given to them is what the problem is. It could have happened earlier in the match. It did not need to finish this match, and it could not have, and they did absolutely nothing for the other talent.
Right. I agree.
And that's it.
Old
The talent that they
wrestlers
should
I don't
be
wanna
focusing
see
on.
at WrestleMania. Do you guys hear who wants to come back full time and do live events?
Batista.
See you guys.
Hey, I'm all for it,
Later,
man.
Z.
I'm not for Batista coming back.
I'm all for it.
His
But
last run, dude.
well, that's because it was the wrong timing.
I only want him back if we get like a Drax attitude in a wrestling style, because then I am all for it.
You're going to get a dirty heel.
I don't care. That's what I want.
well, that's not Drax.
Batista's return last time, which is really bad timing.
He was
Okay.
really,
I've
when he
never
got
seen him
into his
wrestle.
groove, he was a really good fucking heel. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh, I agree.
I know that the whole Daniel Bryan yes movement was like trumping everything at that time, but yeah, Batista,
We say 45.
he wasn't like on his game yet when he came back at the Rumble, but take that same run and go like 2 months later, dude was
He was a
like
good heel.
solid as fuck as a heel, dude, and I enjoyed watching him.
No, I agree 100%. I think Batista
He got a
definitely
bad
he
rap.
got the short end of the stick because he came back
Timing.
when everyone wanted
Batista's
Bryan.
a great heel.
And also,
And to be fair, Batista said he should have been brought back as a heel too.
Yeah, he wasn't happy with the spot right off the bat.
Yeah, I agree.
but also agree. The best thing that came out of Batista's return was the reformation of Evolution.
Wasn't like he was dumb. He knew that Daniel Bryan should have been the fucking guy to get over.
So then Raw followed it after the fucking. Oh, so Z left. Give me your rating for Survivor Series, Callie.
7.
Okay.
I'm agreeing with the 7.
Joe.
6'5".
Orlando.
I'm going 4-5. I
Yeah.
really didn't enjoy shit besides
I'm
Lesnar and AJ.
I'm going with a 4.
And
I
I,
thought it
guess
was
the Shield and New Day was all right.
I would say Shield, New Day,
I thought,
and AJ, Brock was the things
Right,
that
but then
put
the
me to
rest of it was
7.
bullshit.
Yeah,
But,
I don't think those two things were good enough to outshine the rest of the crap that. You know what? Let me
Usos and Bar was great.
Yeah, I was
Again,
about to say Cesaro.
let me
and
switch.
Usos, that
I'm
shit
actually
was
going to
pretty
go to
fucking good,
instead of
dude.
instead of a 4, I'm going to a 5 because
Charlotte Alexa
of
was
that
good
match.
too.
because of what the high spots I'm putting it's equal as the low spot, so that's why I'm putting it as a 5 because it's right in the center. So Raw happened right after that, and that's when Roman took the IC title. He's now the
Fuck looking at me when you say that.
Marine 6, baby.
he took the IC belt, and we had a couple debuts on that week of wrestling.
And a return.
There
PMS V2.
I totally called that too. During the fatal 4-way of Sasha Banks, Bayley, Alicia Fox, and Mickie James to see who was going to be the number one contender to face Alexa Bliss for her Raw Women's Championship, all of a sudden there was a scream and the crowd popped because everyone was expecting Paige to be a part of that fatal 4-way or a part of that match, and there was nothing that was even said. So everyone was pissed off. I love being on Twitter for these live tweeting because you just see it. Everyone's like, this would be a great fucking time for someone to come back, and with a picture of Paige and stuff. And then she came back. And then she said, I'm back. And then she wasn't alone. Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose then came out from behind the ring and attacked Sasha, Bayley, Alicia, and Mickie James. And it was a nice little trio. Everyone starts chanting NXT. Then Paige ends up going into the back, and Alexa Bliss says hi to them, and they beat the shit out of Alexa Bliss following that.
Can I say something about that? I hated the way Mandy Rose executed her finisher way better this week than she did last week.
Okay.
And she's only here because she's got big tits and Vince likes blondes.
She's easy on the eyes. I'll give you
I
that.
guess.
You don't think so?
No.
So
She's
Yes,
got
you would know.
big fake tits and Vince likes blondes.
that week also,
I like both those things, but that's fine. Go ahead.
They're not. If you can touch them, they're real. They're not fake.
I surrender my statement.
It's not like they're a hologram or an illusion or something. If you can touch
Do you
them, they're
deal
fucking
with
real.
like not real boobs a lot, like where it's an illusion? Because
just felt
you
like
were
big
just-
bags of sand.
I
bag
think
of
it's
sand.
fair.
I'm
Oh,
pretending these
that's
are bigger.
No.
nothing.
I mean, whether they feel like real boobs or like a
Bags of
Spalding
sand.
basketball, as long as I can put my hands on them, they're real. Oh, don't give me that look. You know what the fuck I'm saying.
Look, I love boobs too, but
If I can put my hand on my mouth, they're real.
picky.
When it comes to tits,
Well, you have more of a right than I do to be picky because
you own
you
them.
are an owner of a set of tits, and
Are you picky
I'm
about
sure
the
you
dicks
get
touch?
more access
Yeah,
to
actually.
tits than I do. Actually,
I was talking to you.
All right.
I am very picky because I only touched one. A lot, though. I mean, a lot.
Beat my dick like it owes me money, bitch.
Like,
Oh my
a
god! Can
real
we
lot.
move on?
I'm gonna stop
I
talking
just
about
don't
how much-
care.
I'll tell you this right now.
I
I don't think that means Smitty ever masturbates because I don't think he knows what a loan shark does.
He doesn't give me
So
money and beat
Raw
my dick
general
like you
manager
don't get it.
opened up last week's Raw. Kurt Angle came out and he was talking. Triple H comes out and he wouldn't back down from Jason Jordan, wouldn't back down from Kurt Angle, but then Braun Strowman comes out and Triple H backed down.
put
So
him with-
cool. Then we got a match for Jason Jordan versus Braun Strowman.
Via Stephanie.
Yeah, that night. That was cool.
Meh.
Whatevs.
Man.
Asuka came out and beat Dana Brooke. Samoa Joe made Finn Balor tap. And then,
We had to pass out. He didn't tap.
okay. So, and this is just, we're just going into all of this. So then Finn comes on Twitter and really starts using, because Meltzer comes out and says that Vince is over the Finn Balor gimmick. He doesn't think it's going to get over, blah, blah, blah.
the
He's done
modern
with-
day Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, stuff like that. And Finn Balor, like I said, came on Twitter and put out some.
Was this Thanksgiving turkey?
There were more than just the
There was more than
Thanksgiving
damn
turkey.
turkey.
So even now,
Even his
his
house show
Twitter
shit.
handle, it says Finn Balor, but the name says Finn Forever with the OVER and Forever capitalized.
That's cool.
So he has been tweeting like crazy about
for
being
him.
over, right? Since the first one is he wrote Balor Club Forever again with the OVER being capitalized on November 22nd. Then on November 23rd, I am not over cooking the turkey. And then he went out with the next one was he posted the poll that WWE put up, said who should be the next person to face Brock Lesnar for his Universal Championship. And your choices were Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Triple H, Finn Balor. Braun Strowman was also in there, but Finn Balor was winning that vote. At one point, he was like at 68%, while the next closest one to him was Braun Strowman at 10. So yeah,
a distant second.
Roman puts out a tweet saying, "Wherever I am, consider it my yard. So if you want my title, all you have to do is step up." #Raw. Finn quoted that tweet and wrote, "I won't just step up, I'll step over." Then after this week's Raw, where he got completely destroyed
by
again,
Kane,
he wrote overwhelmed. Then the next day he goes, "Last night was tough, but I will get over it." And then 2 hours ago he tweeted, he played golf with, it looks like, is that Kenta?
Let me see.
Atami?
Hideo Itami?
Possibly. Either way, somebody got double bogey to over par. And yeah, it's Atami because he tagged him. So, and it's just, he put out all those tweets after that Meltzer thing.
He says, "Suck it, Meltzer." That's pretty much what he's saying.
But not just that. But it doesn't matter.
It's kind of saying "suck it" booking too.
Yeah, because then he went out and got thrown to shit
as he is on Twitter. I mean, for real.
I think Finn Balor had a chance, and that injury completely.
That injury
screwed him.
fucking derailed his career. Like,
Yeah.
Like you've heard of injuries derailing careers before, but more often than not, guys come back and they get the opportunity to come back. He didn't really get a good opportunity this time.
Elias and Bray. Before Elias was built. Like, it was Elias first coming to Raw.
And I love Elias, but where is he right now? Mid-card?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Dude, that match against him.
I see him in Roman.
Yeah.
And I hate to admit that. Elias looked great.
That's this week. Like, where... And I love Elias. I'm a proponent of his. I like him.
Elias is gonna be fodder.
If I was a booker, he'd be in my territory. Like, but where was he before this week? Like, he was entertaining, but where was he on the card?
He was He was beating
I
up
wouldn't say
on.
floundering,
No, he
but-
wasn't floundering. He was beating up on Titus Worldwide.
He was mid card.
He was the bottom of the mid card, beating on Titus Worldwide.
Well, that's kind of what Titus has been there for lately.
Elias has been featured over and over and over again. He had 3 segments at the TLC pay-per-view, even if they were with Jason Jordan. Elias has been...
That might have been a little ill-advised, though.
He has been slowly being put into our mind frames as
As
being
new
a
Miz.
good guy.
As the next Miz.
But he's
going to be that. While Miz is gone,
wouldn't say that at
Elias is
all.
going to be that heel on the mid card.
That's what he belongs to be. I mean, do you guys see Elias as main event? No. Do you see him as opener? No. He's
So
right
you
where
pretty
he should
much
be.
pretty much agree with my point here.
I don't know. I think.
I mean, you could build a better
I
program
don't know.
for
I think
everybody.
he could go toward. I'm not saying like main event in WrestleMania, but I think he could move up, like upper mid card.
Okay. Even still,
Maybe even
I mean,
threaten for the belt.
While the Miz is gone,
Maybe in U.S.
We heard
IC contention.
I think he's fine where he's at. What I would like to see, not just for him, but for the whole roster, is to give people meaningful feuds amongst the roster that we actually care about. I don't understand why there can't be a mid-card feud that we fucking care about. I don't understand why everything's based around 1 or 2 feuds at the top and everything else is just bullshit fodder until they get there.
Well, I don't think
That's
that's,
more so
totally it
Raw.
right now, because right now there is still a lot of stuff being built for mid-card guys. Like you said, Elias is getting a real good story. The Miz stuff had to go with the Shield for a while, so Elias was slowly built up. What it looks like they're about to do with Matt Hardy is give him his own story. Matt Hardy's a mid-carder. We're never going to see Matt Hardy touch the main
we're
belt.
going to see Matt Hardy versus Bray.
If Woken or Broken V2 gets over, he might move up the card. You don't know.
Again, yeah.
It depends on the response from the quote unquote WWE universe.
Right. Samoa Joe is right now playing mid-card where he's going up. He's going to be
mid to
facing,
upper. I mean, he's fucking with Roman now again,
which is good.
which is good. I agree.
You know,
I do hate the fact that Elias is fodder for Roman right now because they've done
Dude,
some good stuff.
Going back to
building them up.
2 minutes ago, what you guys? That was a great dude. That was probably Elias's best showing. That match him and Roman. That was a great match.
No, his matches with Finn were actually pretty decent.
Yeah, but I don't know, that one with Roman, that probably put him on the map a little bit more.
If you want to see anyone getting buried, just look at Dana Brooke.
I know, she's a talented.
She's by the way, she's possibly tightest worldwide after this week. Possibly.
I actually liked her spot with Asuka this week on Raw, where she came out, cut the promo, and then got beat right away. I thought that was.
I like the way Asuka put her in that move. Like I kept rewinding it. Like
it was smooth. As
how
hell.
could I do that? Can I still couldn't even see. Like how the hell did she do that? Like,
she
It was sweet.
I've said this before. Like we talk about Charlotte, we talk about these other women, and we say they're good, but we always put it in kind of the context like they're good for a woman.
Yeah, no one ever
Asuka
mentions
is
Asuka.
not good for a woman. She is fucking.
She's good for everybody.
And it's almost sad because I don't know if there's anybody on the roster that can even keep, like women wise, that can even keep up with her. Like she is that fucking head above them in terms of in ring.
I think that's why they built Hakim Zane on NXT. So I think they want to get her up as soon as possible to go head to head with Asuka.
I don't even think Hakim Zane can hang with Asuka, dude. She's got that one badass elbow drop. She does have that.
No, but she's also super physical and she has some good technical prowess in the ring.
Yeah, I don't know. I just in the ring, she's just heads above those other women, and it shows. And like it almost exposes the other women in a way.
It's supposed to just WWE women to be more specific.
Well, yeah, but WWE's got a lot of women now that I think are pretty decent, even. But like, just
I like Sarah Logan actually.
But just in comparison, I think in order for them to stand out, they're gonna have to do something else. Like they're gonna have to start being able to cut better promos. They're gonna have to do something else because they're not gonna compete with her as an in-ring performer.
But I think that's why they got these 3 women factions on both shows right now too.
I definitely think that Asuka being on the main card is a really good thing because of what you just said, that it's going to make them step up their game. And that's what I've been wanting because I know that they have it in them and I know that they can do this. Yeah, some of them really need the work, but I think that with the right coaching, with the right things that it can really just bump up the women's division. I just hope that they go in the right direction, not the wrong direction, and it spirals out because that's my big fear.
I agree with that. I think she could be. It would be a real women's revolution if she just starts going out there tearing it up with all these girls.
Yeah.
Opposed to them doing those terrible Bailey segments, and where they write that god awful "I'm a loser, no guys ever loved me" type of shit for.
I'm really glad they
because I would much rather see Asuka just kill a bunch of girls for months than see any of that.
But you see, Asuka and Bailey have good matches together too. So
that's what Asuka can have a good match, and these girls can will be good enough to be in the ring with her. I'm not saying it's like that's the problem. It's just that whenever those women that we think are good, the Charlottes or whatever, if they get put in the ring with Asuka, it's still going to be light and day.
They're going to get exposed,
right? And that's my concern. So, like Hallie's point, they either are going to step up, and I think a couple of them are able to.
Charlotte, Becky,
yeah, I think
Charlotte,
a couple of them
Becky,
will.
Sasha, maybe even Bailey, probably Bailey.
No, Bailey could because Bailey shown she could hang with her in NXT.
Natalia, obviously.
The problem with Bailey is it depends on what the show does with her, on where she's going to go and how she's going to develop, because
it's her character, not her in-ring ability.
Either way, yeah. So there's things I just feel like all around on the card that need developing. I'm curious into seeing the Jason Jordan develop into the heel. I thought that was interesting. I like that. He was saying he already had an excuse for why Braun beat him because he was hurt. Like he already is a heel basically without coming out lately.
Then using it again against Kane.
Right, we're waiting for it. I like some of the subtle things they're doing with that. I wish the rest of the show had some of these subtle details, and it just doesn't to me. It just comes across very flat and like, oh, this guy beat this guy this week. This 50-50 booking shit is just killing me watching this. Nobody gets over. It's like they're over for 1 week, and then this guy's over, and
yeah,
it's just really hard. They're not consistent, and that's the problem. There's no consistency with anything that's happening.
I agree that there's a lot of 50-50 booking, but I think a major problem is the fact that they have weekly television shows. And with weekly television shows, someone has to lose. I mean, look, when they did Starrcade over the weekend and Rusev was getting major pops, people wanted Rusev and stuff. I also think that
it was goddamn Rusev Day.
I also think that in some of these people getting continuous losses, including the Finn Balor thing that we were talking about, it's kind of setting up the crowd to revolt themselves. Like what WWE did with Daniel Bryan was not supposed to happen. The crowd changed that, you know, and I think they might be trying to do that now, and make it look like they're, rather than the crowd turning on them making the crowd turn.
I agree 100% with your point. I think that's true.
But it's not
and I think it's true just from a wrestler standpoint. I've always felt like I'm way more over when I'm not the top guy. Mm-hmm. Because once you're the top guy, you're no longer the people's guy. You're the company guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's almost immediate. Because then they know, oh, the company's behind this guy.
Right.
But when he's losing, and you're, you know, and you're on this losing run, and you're still, it's like, well, that's our fucking guy. Why is he losing?
Right.
As soon as he becomes the guy.
Mitty, did you say it's not working?
Well, the whole thing about, you said they're trying to unorganically turn the crowd against them.
Not even. I mean, it's not unorganically because they're making the crowd is turning. There's people popping for Rusev consistently.
And when I was saying, when you said, I think it was like the Finn thing. Like, you think the fans are unorganically going to start trying to turn event?
No, not turning on him. They're turning on the company, not the wrestler. The company, where because that's why
a misunderstanding.
Yeah, okay. Because that's why he's getting 68% of a vote. Because the fans are like, no, fuck you, we want him. And so they finally make it look like they're not going to give it, and then they give it to you.
So, like, I think you're right. I think that does work to a degree, but my problem is you can't do that with everybody. You can do that with one or two guys.
Yeah.
And maybe even on each show, and you can get away with that type of mentality, but the rest of the guys still have to get over, and you have to push them, and there has to be a reason why, and it can't just be, oh, they lost a lot. You know, like, that doesn't work.
I think Finn has an amazing work ethic in the ring. I don't think Finn is ever going to get over because of how he sounds. And that's a problem. Because his accent.
He has one of the heaviest accents in the company right now.
You think that?
Yeah, 100%.
This is why Becky's not been back to the top. Becky has one of those heavy accents where her promos get fucking buried.
Sorry, I cannot listen to you with headphones on. The reason I love Finn more is because
I
of his
don't
accent.
disagree with Smitty on that. Becky's has a hard time talking.
The reason the accent is a problem is because it's the same reason why Shinsuke is probably not going to be a big guy in WWE. As good as he is.
Which is a shame.
But you can't do what you do. They gave him in NXT and in Japan on the main roster, especially on a 2-hour show.
It's not like he said that much in Japan either.
I'm not talking
His
about talking,
catchphrase was
dude.
yow,
But
you know?
his matches for his style are supposed to go 15, 20 minutes. You're not going to get that on a 2-hour show. You're going to get 5-10 minutes.
He could be himself with his talking ability and still get over if they just used him right.
It's no, because his talking ability will bring him down. Finn's talking ability will bring him down.
Only if they make that
and Becky's talking ability
point.
bring her
Okay,
down.
well, there's a couple things that I think Finn has going against him. One, I think he's incredibly small.
He's
okay.
he's a 205 guy.
Yeah,
in
I mean,
reality.
he's legit probably $175.
By the way,
tops.
speaking
Like-
of 205, Hideo Itami's going
And
to
that's fine.
205.
Small guys
We'll
can
get
get
there.
over, but you have to have something even extra. And he
Like
does
like
when he's the
Brian.
demon.
He's only got the extra when he's a demon.
Right,
We talked about that before.
And that's the thing. When he's regular Finn, I find him boring. And even his
I'm
in-ring
agreeing with
matches,
this.
I go, boring. Fucking his talking, boring. Oh, he's a demon. Okay, I'll watch. And there's it's like two different fucking characters. You know what I mean? I'm invested in one and not the other.
I brought that up like as a point, like as a fan of his, like as a positive. I'm like, I said that before. You've heard me say it on the show. Like, he's obviously over as fuck as a demon, but like they've built
use
his
that every
they
time.
built his character to like where he's like
Bland.
only over like it's like when he's a demon. Like any other match when he's not the demon, it's like, oh, well, you're getting 50% of Finn. You're getting 75% of Finn. This match doesn't mean as much. So how do they make regular Finn to rival the importance
And the thing is,
of
they
Demon
won't.
Finn?
And they won't.
I
It's
don't
not
think
that they
can.
won't. It's they can't. Because I know, Kelly, what you were saying
if I was a
is
booker, I don't know how either. Sorry, go ahead.
Kelly, what you were saying is the accent makes you want to listen to him more. That's cool. But there's a reason why in the wrestling world, right, you have to go across the world. And sure, Finn's in from Ireland. That's great. That's a great selling point for when you go to Ireland. And Shinsuke's in from Japan, and that's a great selling point when you go to Japan. But when you go to Mississippi, right, or you go to, and I'm Arizona,
Texas.
right? Arizona. No, I'm not trying to keep it all south
Tulsa,
because I don't want to.
Oklahoma, or whatever.
Arizona,
Minnesota.
you're right?
California.
Wisconsin. We can go north.
All right, y'all. Let me get this point.
That's
me
where
just
you
name
have
cities.
the average fan who want to be able to relate to someone consistently.
And I understand that. I see it. This is something that's not just WWE related. I see this on a day-to-day basis, so I get it. I have my own issue with it. I like Finn for who he is, even when he's not the demon, but that's the unpopular opinion, and I understand that.
They can change that to an extent, but I don't think he'll ever sniff. And I honestly think he's facing Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble because they have to. But unless Finn does something in this build, in that match, to switch the light of the majority of the WWE universe and Vince McMahon, after Royal Rumble, Finn will never smell a top and you know what? To be fair, he'll never smell it on Raw. Because it's very possible he
You
goes
do
to
on
SmackDown.
SmackDown after Mania.
I'll give that.
Maybe.
Because again,
I know Vince got a lot of flack for it, but like I kind of think of Finn as Dolph Ziggler too. In a lot of ways, Dolph was the fans' guy for many years. People forget that.
Yeah.
He was.
He
That was the guy that
The biggest Money in the
fans
Bank
wanted
pop.
to see get a pop.
He was the biggest Money in the Bank pop cash in of all time.
Yeah, and people were behind him, and he was always there to have a good match. And so, like, I don't think the comparison is that far out. I think if you're comparing Ziggler now, I think it's like, wow, look
Apples
how
and
far
oranges.
Ziggler's fallen. I mean, I don't even think he was at Survivor Series. I don't think any of us even noticed or cared. So I think if you're comparing it now, it's definitely there. But then it's like, oh shit. But if you're comparing Ziggler's whole run to Finn's, I think they're kind of pretty similar.
and an injury both killed their
Especially
title
at
reigns.
The point, like where Finn is at now, compared to where Dolph is at the same point. Yeah, they're like almost identical.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't think it's that far of a difference as people are making it into, because I think you're thinking of Ziggler now. But Ziggler was over with the fans for years, and
About
people
4 or 5
wanted to see
years.
him get something.
I think something that would help Finn is like they need to put him. If they
Turn
if
him
they
heel.
wanted to get him over, which it sounds like they don't even care
Turn him heel,
enough to
put him
do.
with
But if they
Gallows
did,
Anderson.
they need to like put him in like a high profile program, and maybe let him win actually. And the demon isn't even a thing.
That's
like,
exactly the way I would book it.
Like,
Like,
he
that
just needs
demon
to
needs
like
to be way
beat
more rare.
somebody with notoriety,
Listen,
with just himself coming out in his leather jacket, no paint, just Finn and just being him. Like, otherwise, he will never be taken seriously without that paint on.
Right.
I would say this.
All right. So moving on from Finn and Raw. On SmackDown, there was another debut of 3 women. Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan broke up the Charlotte versus Natalya SmackDown Women's Championship match, and then also went in the back and straight up beat the fucking shit out of Becky Lynch and Naomi. Becky Lynch is allegedly gone for some time. She's also filming the Marine 85. So that's why her and Miz have been removed from their
to
respective
DVD.
brands. But also, Bludgeon Brothers debuted against the Hype Bros 2 weeks ago and just beat the absolute living shit out of Zack Ryder on the outside, and then turned on to Mojo Rawley in the ring, to which they went over pretty convincingly. Shane wanted to fire Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Daniel Bryan stopped them, kept them around. Kevin thought after put him in a lumberjack match where everyone beat the hell out of him. Kevin scurried away, found Daniel Bryan in the back, and Daniel said, "Don't have to beg for your job. I was never going to fire you. Next week, you have to face Randy Orton in a no DQ match." Then this week, Kevin Owens got the shit beat out of him on SmackDown. AJ Styles defeated the Singh brothers in the 2-on-1 handicap match, even though Jinder and everyone started beating the absolute living fuck out of him prior to the match. Hype Bros lost once again to the Bludgeon Brothers because they wanted a rematch to make it better. They didn't make it better. This time, Zack Ryder took the pinfall, and then Mojo beat the shit out of him afterwards, breaking up the Hype Bros.
Who cares?
About time.
Go on.
One thing that about SmackDown that is blowing my mind right now is the fact that the New Day just went over on Gable and Benjamin, the number one contenders to the tag titles.
But they're still not the number one contenders.
Not that they're not the number one contenders, but why would you? Who booked your number one contenders to lose?
Two.
Somebody setting up a triple threat.
I don't think
Triple threat tag team match.
I don't think
For
they
Clash
really,
of Champions?
Possibly.
I don't think they really look at Benjamin
They are.
and Gable as the number one contenders. Maybe they're like a piece on a chessboard, but I don't think the Office, quote unquote, looks at them like as real threats to the.
Oh, I thought
to
you
the
were talking
titles.
like in the storyline because like they're totally the number one contenders.
Yeah,
Right now.
it's storyline.
They have a match because of the.
storyline, yeah, but I mean, for real, like I don't.
The Shield thing.
I just don't think the company puts a lot of stock in them. Is what I'm trying to say.
Well, the way I see, the way I'm looking at the booking is possibly going. You set up a triple threat tag team match at Clash of Champions, and Gable and Benjamin escape with the titles, just because you have the two popular teams and the least popular team taking it.
I can see that happening. One thing I want to talk about before we move on and stuff is Orlando, the Bludgeon Brothers. The thing that we mocked so much made their debut 2 weeks ago or last week. Sorry,
I like them together. I've always liked them together. I thought they looked good in their performance. It's just the fucking name.
Gimmick.
It's just the gimmick,
gimmick.
that sounds so stupid.
The
It's so
vignettes
hard
are
to be
really
like,
bad too.
yeah, it's really hard to be like, I'm a fan of the Bludgeon Brothers. You know what I mean? Like, I
I
feel
don't see anything wrong with it. I guess I'm missing a point.
Luke
of it.
slaps the shit out of Rowan before they damn Larry into the corner.
I'll be honest, man. I was shitting on this gimmick from the promos, and then the match 2 weeks, the last
Oh.
week, and then this week, I was like, holy fuck!
In
they
ring,
look
they're
good.
ass kickers.
Right, and
They've always been that way.
Well, the vignettes did them no justice, you know.
but what the good thing is it also takes you away from the Wyatt family. Because are you even mentioning the Wyatts right now? Has anyone said, man, I wish they would go back with Bray Wyatt?
it's solid. And it does add depth to the tag division because they've been a team for years.
Well, they're a legitimate threat. That's for
Bray
sure.
Wyatt, after the second match on their second match on SmackDown, tweeted out, "Come home." ... I was like, really? Leave it alone.
Yeah, we don't want to get blocked by another
Interesting.
superstar.
Yeah. I like
Sure we
getting
do.
blocked by him.
I mean, it's cool, but at the same
Kalisto
time,
blocks or not Kalisto.
it'd be cool to have like positive relationships with guys too.
We do.
Hey,
We got
Naomi
Hakim
loves
Zane.
us.
That's what we give for
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, Naomi likes us. She's the main roster lover of us.
You like too, man.
Finally,
The
Oh
one
my
nice
God.
thing he says all
Wow.
fucking show.
yeah, because she's black.
Yeah.
He's just thinking about that booty.
Right. I was gonna say it's that booty though.
It ain't your beauty.
Right,
It's
though.
your
That's
beauty.
only 35%.
I'm gonna go with that's about 45%.
I know. I think you're lowballing that, man.
He wants
He's
to
half.
lowball it for sure.
He's
Gravity is a bitch.
I know. Never mind.
Okay.
Lowballing.
Never mind. I'm gonna
Never
be
mind.
nice. I'm gonna be a good person.
Okay. On Raw this week, Matt Hardy faced Bray Wyatt. After the match, Matt Hardy sat in the corner and started to,
Have a mental breakdown.
thank you, flip out, bending over, going, and starts yelling out delete with the motion. Makes everyone go, wow, what's going on with Matt Hardy right now? And then it comes out this week or today. Sorry.
Same week.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm specifically Wednesday that Anthem is dropping their lawsuit against WWE for the use of the broken gimmick.
It's against anyone and any current or former performer.
They're dropping the lawsuit against WWE because what they're doing is, and this is the statement they have sent out to Sports Illustrated. They said, I had it pulled up and it just disappeared. Okay. They're releasing all the talents that come in to work with Impact and Anthem are going to be able to use their gimmicks elsewhere as well now. And that includes what they're doing, reworking the contracts of former superstars as well, so that people who had ideas can use them in other areas.
Like guys like James Storm and
So
EC3.
So if they wanted to leave, they could come, and you could possibly even see beer money happen on WWE television.
That would be pretty cool.
What just happened?
EC3 needs to find a new gimmick, though.
No, I almost came in my pants because Beer Money is one of the greatest tag teams that ever happened in tag team wrestling.
They were pretty
in a
fun.
long time.
Not gonna lie.
James Storm and Bobby Roode.
The exact quote from Anthem is, "Our new talent agreements all incorporate language that allows talent to continue to use their Impact persona after they leave the company. We are working with our legal team to amend our existing agreements to extend this to all of our current and former talents." So it's very possible that after that we see broken Matt Hardy, but obviously in a different light.
WWE spin.
As always.
Woken.
So Matt has Twitter going, I have as woken Matt Hardy, and he's putting out things like WWE Universe tweeted out, "Has Matt Hardy snapped? #Raw." And he quoted it going, "No, I have evolved. My primal passenger has returned to drive my vessel. I am more." And then WWE posted a video clip of the Matt Hardy reaction after the match. And he tweeted out, "Yes, my dormant condition has been woken."
Woke as fuck.
But then he tweeted out today at I just had the time pulled up, 12:39 p.m. "The Great War is merely beginning on this plane identified as WWE. I must recruit loyal soldiers from around the planet of Earth to join me as I battle in a domain overflowing with darkness and demons. Our platoon has much to do."
Seriously?
Yep.
Woken Matt Hardy versus Kane.
And then at 4:30, Wednesday, November 29th, he tweeted, "I am recently #woken, but I will forever be #broken." So obviously there's going to be a WWE spin on this.
Of course there is.
And my question to you, look, the first fucking episode of our show, we discussed the broken gimmick. It came up. Orlando said it's the only thing he'll ever give a 10.
Yeah.
He says, great. He says, fucking amazing.
The
We
final
need to watch
deletion.
it. The final
It's the only
deletion.
thing in Impact that I've watched in years. And like I said, I have friends on the show now. It's the only thing I've seen in years.
You can finally say that tonight.
And so then we all watched it and talked about it on the second ever episode. So I feel like we're kind of connected to this gimmick too, because it's been a mainstay from literally the first episode.
Well, it was
of our
at
show.
its peak during our.
No, it just
No,
started.
it was on a rise.
Yeah, because it was the first match. It
The
was
final
at the Hardy
deletion was like
compound.
the final deletion was like our
That's-
third episode we ever did.
But that's what made even the first match made literally the internet blow up.
Right, and then I think from there it snowballed and got bigger and bigger.
Right.
And then they went to WWE and it kind of stopped.
Mainly because of contracts and
Right.
legal stuff.
Yeah, for once
So-
you can't blame that on WWE
No,
Creative.
My
But
question,
we can now.
My
Once
Yeah.
once it happens now, we will.
Yeah.
One, I have two questions, and Joe, we're going to start with you. One, is it too late for this? Do you even care about it? And if it's not, or you don't, or you do care, are you worried about what WWE might do to this?
Let me start off negative and I'll finish positive. Yes to both, but I still think it can work. I think it is a little too late. Too little too late. But I think the Woken spin reinvigorates it a little bit. But and I think that'll burn hot real quick at first. But I have reservations, not as a podcast guy or whatever, just as
Like a Native
a
American?
fan. No, well, no, not as those. Not as
Fuck
those.
those guys.
I have reservations as a fan because I feel WWE does this and maybe it's just ego thing. They'll bring in some hot gimmick, light it on fire for a few months, push it, bring it to the top, and then they'll just shoot it back down the card. Then they'll put their own spin on it and maybe try to revitalize it, and it doesn't ever become what it once was. So I fear about that.
Mysterio's a good example.
But I feel like the woken broken, the whole Matt Hardy, like I feel like that has its own thing that maybe like that can like just surpass, like break the WWE machine, even with it being woken instead of broken. So I think that like, and Matt's really good on social media, which is important nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like a ceiling set on it from the Office standpoint, but I think Matt and Jeff themselves have the potential to just bust through that ceiling. If that makes any sense at all. I feel
No, it does. And I thought I have pretty similar thoughts to you on it. And it also said Mikey said something earlier. I don't think the gimmick in WWE's mind is ever going to be what it was in Impact. But to your point, I think it can get over enough because it's so over the top that if it's even worked half as well in WWE's program, I think the crowd will start, because it's not going to be the main event. It's going to be like an organic thing where I think the crowd will start to get behind.
Right, they'll want to make it the main
and
event.
So it does have potential to blow through and become something bigger. I still don't think it'll ever reach that main event type level that it was in Impact. But
it'll put Matt and Jeff higher on the card than they are now,
right?
For sure.
And I think it definitely gives them some more fuel at the very least.
I put out a tweet right after the delete chants happened from Matt Hardy that said, personal opinion, with everything WWE is dropping the ball on, Matt needs full control of this angle for it to get over. And
good luck with that.
I think
that wasn't meant to be a joke. Being serious, actually.
I'm sorry.
I just took it for what it was.
What
he just said.
Well, to be fair, Matt didn't have full control over it in Impact, right?
I don't think anyone does these days anymore.
So he was working with somebody else, and that was partially part of the legal battles.
Yeah, but
they were like, it's not the full creation of Matt Hardy. One of our writers did
always the property of the company, right?
No, not when it comes to something like that. Not there. Now for WWE, sure, because it's probably in the WWE's coming up with the storylines. So for this to when I'm saying Matt needs full control, I mean he needs like the control he had at Impact. Period. It doesn't matter if he's working with someone else on it and Vince has the final say. These need to be Matt's ideas going through, not someone going, hey, how about we do this? And Matt going, okay.
No, this is not what broken Matt Hardy would do. This is what he would do.
And if Matt doesn't have that kind of pull with this gimmick as the way it's going now, it's going to be the ultimate fail and might kill a lot of future things with Matt and Jeff.
Yeah, I think if it doesn't go over well, what will end up happening is that it'll go back to the indies. I think they'll leave and they'll take their release and they'll take it elsewhere. Whether or not WWE then owns that gimmick, then it becomes like a whole fucking thing.
You have a question, or do you
After
think
this fiasco, I don't think that'll happen.
So my question is, do you think they'll bring the whole Broken Universe, including Rebby and Max too?
I don't know. We have to see. I'm not going to say no, but I don't know what WWE's going to do with
that
it.
Gimmick would have to get white hot for that to happen.
Right.
WWE already said they didn't want to bring in Reba and Maxwell.
No, they said they weren't against it. They just weren't bringing them for full-time contracts.
Right. I think that for Matt to even do this idea, to do this gimmick, I think I would assume that with where he's been in the company, how he's coming back, and what he was before he came, I think it's already been pre-discussed that like he's going to put his foot down on these certain things, and I don't think that we're going to have to worry that it's him just going, yeah, okay, I'll go with these ideas, because I don't think he would even begin to do this if it wasn't his if he didn't have a hand in it, because I just don't see that being him. I don't see him being that company guy that just goes, okay, sure, whatever. Like, no, like Matt stands for what he stands for and chooses to be what he chooses to be. And I think that like when he chose to come back to WWE, like that was what was kind of set into terms with coming back.
He's also one of those guys, like, he's been around long enough. He's got a name in WWE. He can make money wherever he goes.
Right. And I think the thing about Maxwell and
Rebby.
and yeah, is that Maxwell was just at Starrcade, was he not?
Yes, he was.
He-ish. Like, he came out for a split
Yeah.
second, and then Matt handed him right back to Rebby.
Yeah.
But I think that was kind of like their tester to see.
He wasn't Rebby.
Just-
He came like Matt came out holding him and gave him to Jeff, and Jeff went back to the back.
No.
Okay.
Oh, look at the entrance! Like,
You can go ahead and look at the video. Matt posted it.
Well, I wish they would have just put that thing on
Whatever.
the network, you know?
that was one thing we both agreed on.
This
like,
is the final
Starrcade.
thing that we're going to talk about.
Great segue.
Good segue there, boys. Starrcade happened.
You call him boy.
Zuh.
The black guy and the Jewish guy. We gotta be boys though.
I mean, you are.
Yeah, but I just love
We are the world
Right.
champions.
So
We are the
the-
BDR
I
championship.
keep forgetting that like this is here for me to throw at Smitty, but
Starrcade
line of fire.
happened.
I'm moving
There was a large outcry from the WWE universe where a lot of people wish that was on the network because of the card that it was, the special things that happened. Rock and Roll Express coming out. A lot of people thought they were going to be wrestling. They ended up not wrestling. So I guess I'm going to ask a question. I want to get a yes or no from everybody. And then I'm going to ask someone with the two opposing opinions. Number one, do you wish Starrcade was on the WWE Network? Smitty,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Orlando,
Yes.
Callie.
yeah.
Opposing opinion, no. Orlando, why do you wish it was on the network?
Because I think they could use more original content. And I was talking to a mutual friend, Phil of ours.
Marsville.
Yeah.
Phil.
And he doesn't watch wrestling anymore.
Philip?
But he is intrigued by the Starrcade thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have intrigued fans like him to purchase the network or to go watch the network or to tune in to something that they would want to see, opposed to the current product that maybe people aren't as interested in. So I thought it would have been a nice little thing to add to the network at the very least. It doesn't have to be a big exclusive. It doesn't have to be NXT TakeOver. But if they could do it the way they did that Japan show a couple years ago with Brock, if it was something
Beast
like
in
that,
Tokyo.
I felt like it would be fine to add that extra content to the network. It would be something that I would want to see. It would be something that fans like Phil and these other types of people would want to see.
I say no. Only because, yes, I agree. It'd be something cool, something different for the network. But I like the idea of such a throwback to the possible territory type stuff. Because Starrcade was the biggest thing in Greensboro, North Carolina for years. It was what sold, obviously, Dusty's
I'll raise
idea.
my hand because I don't want to interrupt. So just finish. When you're done, I got a point to make.
Did you interrupt to say he wasn't
Yeah, he
interrupting?
interrupted to say he's not going to interrupt.
It's all right. Your
We know
interruptions
what
aren't
he-
as bad as
I started
somebody
the
else's.
hand raising on the podcast for the record.
I'm subtle. I'm subtle.
All right, go ahead though.
So
I'm texting. Fuck you.
Now that's an
Yeah, we throw
interruption.
the bottle at him for that one.
Go ahead.
I got 2 cans and 2 cups. Try me.
I like the idea of when fans going to see something special, they get it. Because look, man, WWE has their live shows all around, all the time. Great.
sorry.
Those are not on the network, right? But does the WWE ever do anything super special for people just in an attendance? Do they make a destination for fans just in attendance? They don't. It's just the live shows. But the way they're talking with the coming out of how successful Starrcade was, they're talking about doing it yearly. And then it becomes a destination. And the only way you can see it is to go to Greensboro, North Carolina.
Right.
And that
makes
with
sense.
and with all of the stuff they give us on the network, I think it's really cool that they give specific fans something, because then it becomes something. Dude, did you see this? Did
Right.
you know,
Makes you
sure, we
wanna
got
go to the live
photos.
events,
Yeah.
yeah.
And but this is a live event that they can sell 10, 15,000, because I think they get it was a 17,000 person arena, and I
Sure,
think they 12.5.
And if it becomes a regular thing where it's like they do these special shows and just live events, then I think it makes the whole live event market better for them.
Right.
So in that
Once or
sense,
twice.
So in that sense, I agree. If it's just a one time a year, then they need to put that shit on the network.
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that Starrcade was like it was before WrestleMania, but it was the biggest WCW event of their
NWA
year.
at that point.
And in NWA too. So if you put, it's like Starrcade. It's like you brought up the nostalgia pop of Starrcade. That brings back, like you said, it brings back those old school fans that know what Starrcade is. The fact that you start something that's a nostalgic thing on the network, it brings more people to buy the network still. Even if you just do it once a year. It's like, how much is $10 a month? What is that? $120
a month.
Yeah, $120 a year. So $120 a year.
We're
Add a
so
zero.
nice.
I'm gonna ask all of you, when you go to a bar, how much do you spend on a tab?
Zero.
Motherfucker. It's like, I'm gonna stop that because like there's at certain bars I can say that, but at certain bars
No,
I can't.
I go to a lot of
bar
bars
out
where I
of
don't pay. Not just downtown.
Okay.
What was your point, Joe?
Fuck
we
space.
got to a personal point there.
No, thank you. Starrcade was originated to be a counterpart to WrestleMania. Like, WrestleMania was the biggest thing in wrestling at the time
Starrcade
ever.
started first.
Starrcade did start first.
But they put it like on national TV before pay-per-view. WrestleMania was on closed circuit, and then their answer to that was Starrcade.
Well, Starrcade started first.
Starrcade started
WrestleMania's response
But
to
that was
Starrcade.
still their response to WrestleManias.
Okay, it was the opposite promotion's biggest show.
Right. So to like make
But
their,
Starrcade was around first. I
make-
just want to preface that.
I said that.
I know. I just want to keep restating it.
I was right.
It was still their response to Mania when Mania came around,
Yeah.
though, right? Am I wrong
Agree.
about that?
That you're right about. Yes.
Yeah.
So, like, to make their response to the biggest show of the year ever, like in past history, a house show, like you can't even put that on the network. I ain't even asking for like a exclusive pay per view. Like, put it on the network, like in one of those original sections or something. Like,
Like
really?
you said, like Beast in Tokyo.
Yeah. Like, why not at least that?
Because if you're doing it to build a special market for the live events, it's counterproductive to put it on the network. And you know what? Maybe they will put it on the network down the line, but maybe that's 6 months from now.
Beast in Tokyo was a live event.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is that's also in Tokyo, where a strong majority of the fan base is the United States.
So was the MSG show with
AJ
Big Show.
AJ Styles won the United States Championship at MSG show, right?
No, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the one with Brock winning his Big Show.
Okay, but AJ Styles just won that title at the latest MSG Live,
show, yes.
right? Has that been touched on the network?
No, it was touched on the website more than anything else.
Yeah. Photos, you saw little clips of the win celebration. You saw more fan videos than WWE videos, right? It is the WWE. Look, man, their money is not on Raw and SmackDown, right?
It's in the network.
It's 100% either the network or their live events. And the live events are something special because the wrestlers do more with the fans than they would when they're on TV.
Yeah,
because
they have more fruit.
So
It's less scripted.
when they're making a destination event, aka, let's say they're doing it with Starrcade, and the only reason I'm using Starrcade because it got the name. The natural Dustin Rhodes came out, like it was different. So because of that,
Spinebuster was dope.
but you only see photos. It's a destination event.
WWE actually put out a video for it.
You're still seeing photos and video clips. You're not going to see it on something like that because I feel what they're doing is making it a destination event.
for live
You
event.
want to see it? Go to it.
And I think there's valid points to be made on both sides. I think what you're saying makes total sense if you're trying to build up the live event market and make that an exclusive thing. So if it's on the network, you wouldn't have to go see it live, and that would be the count. So I think what you're saying makes sense. I think putting on the network also makes sense because I think it draws in older viewers that might be interested in seeing some of the old guys and this and that. And I think ultimately the right way to do it is something you suggested, a couple minutes ago, or I think we'll get this event on the network, but it's going to be 7 months from now. And I think that way we still get to see it, but it was 7 months later, and it's like, shit, man, I don't want to wait 7 months. I'm going to go to the live event to fucking see this next year. And I think that's the way that if I'm booking it, that's the way I'm going to market it and make my money off of it both ways. So that would be my concept. But I think both sides have a point just about which one is going to make you the most money. So Is you know what I mean? Is it putting it up there right away? Going to draw on the old fans to watch it right then? Or is it, be people trying to build up the live events, make you know what I mean? Make that a destination like you're saying?
I just feel like they've been selling the network as like an exclusive thing where like you can only see this stuff on the network. Like you got to buy the network to see this. You got to buy the network to see that. So like that to me, that would be like a perfect thing to sell the fucking network.
And like I said, I think you're right. I think he's right. I think the best way to do it is to do it in a couple of months. That way, it's the same thing. Maybe they release, 5 live events from the year, and Starrcade's one of them. Maybe they put a whole live event section on. You know what I mean? Like you can do a lot of things or something like that, with that, but it has to be the older, because they have a couple of the old live events on there. If you go look, from like the 90s and 80s and stuff. So maybe they add it to that section. Maybe it's not. You know what I mean? But it's not right away.
The point I want to make is during their live shows, they're having issues with filling seats. Yes?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. So as a company, how are you going to entice people to come to your shows? I know this is not your televised ones, but the times that you're going to draw people are going to be during these house shows when the fans can interact with the
superstars.
Yeah, the superstars more. So you have to, as much as it sucks, and I hope a couple months down the road or a year later or whatever it may be, that they do put it on the network so that we can watch it and we can see. Because there's definitely things on there that, like, I wish I had just gotten the tickets and just gone. Because that's possible for me. But I just like, oh, well, I want to be home. But, well, you have that till the 16th of May.
Sweet.
But the point being is just you have to balance back and forth of making sure that you are pulling people from all directions.
Yeah, I agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us here at Breaking Down the Ring. We have had an amazing show. Thank you so much to Hakim Zane. Hakim Zane stepping out, being our first in-studio guest. You guys can find him on Facebook. Just search up Hakim Zane. Also at Hakim Zane on the Twitters. Make sure you are in Belleville, Michigan, Sunday, December 3rd for the Border City Wrestling Show, the Motown Showdown. That's right. Diamondback Saloon hosting its first wrestling event in, Lord knows, 7 years, something like that. Major stack card, including the main event of being Eli Drake defending his Impact Global Championship against Alberto El Patron and Johnny Impact. Our Hakim Zane, the guest today, will be facing off against Jimmy Jacobs, Petey Williams, and Crap, I just completely shit the bed on that one.
It's okay. We said it enough.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Yeah, you fuckers. Look it up because
it sounds Asian enough.
It's a 4-way. Jesus Christ. Kaito Kiyomiya. An Impact 4-way X Division showcase match. Guys, again, you can get these tickets. All you have to do is go to bcwmotownshowdown.eventbrite.ca and you can see all of this stuff. Impact cameras will be live at the event. Make sure you guys are following us on all of our social media. BDRcast, be it Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, all of that shit. Just go BDRcast. You type that up, you'll get us. ProWrestlingTees.com/BDRcast. We have the brand new Breaking Down the Ring logo shirt up there for everyone to see. You can buy that. You can buy yourself a being appropriate shirt.
Treat yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, go to our Patreon if you feel we're that good. Support us. Show us some love. Patreon.com/BDRcast. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. We are your ring crew.
Adios, mi negros. I'm Smitty.
Wow.
Armbar.
Orlando.
The next little thing.
And me, the almighty one. And we are out.